time after time. But I like that you brought up those sniper kills because we've seen from RDW that he's the guy to watch out for. He's able to get those frags. He's so effective with the chamber, and a big reason why Bonkers is here today, especially against his big efforts versus Order. But I'm gonna put one on you instead and say on the other side, Persija, they were able to prove that against Paper X. Remember the Breeze map? Remember Flinch there with that jet? I think that was around 15 sniper kills along the way. So if you want a sniping battle, there is still that potency on the other side. But here we go already, and I'm fully expecting high octane action here from Persija. If it's a team that's willing to face off against Paper Rex in that kind of close contention, not only the scoreline but also the frags, then you are in for a treat here from Persija. And you can still see already a blitzkrieg towards that A side. Famous already taking down Tix, spikes planted, and the speedy nature of Persija to just run it back and go again.
Well, that's the LJ rush for you. The Leroy Jenkins rush. Use that stem beacon to think that you're going to go for B and then just go straight for the A side. That being said, U-Haul control much more adamant here for the Bonkers team. Nas has gone all the way around. He's making a ton of noise. Know that's one coming out from showers here, but will have the hive on that spike. No one's actually going to be looking at him dead in the sights. And he almost fakes the defuse, or just goes for the straight defuse, excuse me. The Persija, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, don't worry, fake Ryan's mid-make, and he almost made it, right? That was so close there just to get that penalty kick out of nowhere. But Persija Esports, you can see that they still are going to be keeping up with the same kind of angles that they did last time against Bonkers. They knew it worked in such a dominant fashion before, and it's really up to Bonkers to counteract those kind of angles, and we saw it there from the likes of Minimize, Great Flash in the first place. But I think right now, this series, it's going to be defined by pace. Can Bonkers keep up with the pace of Persija? Because you can see that out of nowhere, this is the APAC, it's not even the APAC style. I think we go back to this being the, I'd say, distribution and the recognition of SEA in general. The hard clash style. Go for those brawls. And while the Aussie scene, the OCE scene is great and all with VOT, it's still very different from what they're that accustomed to. And for APAC, we've had already a year last year only for SEA that they were getting those kind of integrations. And you can see right now, those are the struggles again for Bonkers, because out of nowhere, contact can just happen immediately from a team like Persija.
Last two, last one, RDW.
Nice shot.
Oh, dude, Flinch, what are you doing? Oh, he's styling, he's grooving, he's dashing, he's got those thick legs to get those hops underway. And
yeah. Wait, Asura, is that what you notice about Neon, the thick legs? Man.
Hey, if she's a sprinter, her calves and her would be just fully muscular, alright? Okay, that's like just anatomy.
Okay, I can see what you're looking at, my friend, when we get these agents. But look at this.
It's too early in the morning, Dax.
It's too early in the morning. I mean, you had your 6 hours, I had my 2 hours, but right now, Bonkers, I like that they're keeping positive because they know Persija is going to get in their face as much as possible. Here for PSJ, it's all about that rush, all about that speed. And I'm liking the fact also that they're integrating a few lessons they learned from Paper X against their match last time in Fracture to actually get even more of a distraction here from the Neon itself. But a good frag there over onto the spawn. Bonkers already anticipating the hard take from Persija. You can even see Spike is planted, sure, but retake is possibility. Not down with a spray down onto Asterisk. Here comes Minimize, getting on board as well. It's 5v2. This pinch from Bonkers looking very effective so far.
They do have one lurking all the way through elbow, but that's immediately dealt with. Eeyore did a couple of those headhunter shots, not in the head. And PSJ missing the beat on that one. They do get the plant, but no economic damage too much on Bonkers. Yeah, they do get that nice little flawless there. I think Flinch just kind of overdoing it at some point. He just like charged right into spawn and got spotted by the enemy Soba, unfortunately.
That's a good spot.
I think this is just a standard case of fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. And first, Bonkers, they're not gonna get fooled twice. If they're gonna be losing these rounds, it's because they're outclassed by the entry, outclassed by the frags. So you can see right now that they're anticipating some of the angles that Persija is willing to take in the first place. And since they have that understanding, they having that Neon on their roster, they know what limits can be pushed here all the way to the other side of the map. Trailblazer now from Minimize. garnering that intel. One of the smarter players really here for Bonkers. And if he's on that intel duty, it helped the team assess what to do exactly for the round. Triple stack though here from Persija. Rosify, is he the one who's gonna start things off? But I'm looking at Famous to be the one to pop off here. Fast lane right now, though from Nas. There we have the shock bot as well. And a great pick off here by Minimize, peering on through. Asterisk goes down. Minimize right now, backing on away at the right time. And even gets appeared through the window. Catches another one off guard. Seekers now are perfectly primed. 3 targets to look for, 3 targets to find. It does seem like now, though, that Bonkers is slowing down the pace here of Persija, but Eeyore, perfect timing, and the rendezvous gone wrong there. Cebu play, because it's Persija now getting a free pick off. Six, though, finds Rosify in response.
Oh, that's a little bit unfortunate. Whiffs here and there. Eeyore wanting to just make up for lost mistakes of his teammates, but can't really do nothing. Minimize. What a hero as he denies access to any of these sites, to be honest. You can't see Flinch getting the pick up onto Nas, but I'm also kind of wondering, Minimize not getting smoked off on elbow, allowing him to get the good positioning and keep the flashes more into an optimal state. That being said, this round still goes into the favor of Bonkers. And this time, they're not just running in, they're setting things up.
They are setting things up, and at least they're getting rounds now on the defense compared to before, and you can see how their hold works. As RDW, we talked about sniper kills, you get it from the Tour de Force. And Six also with a hold here towards the shower. Bonkers right now putting a good stop to the pace here of Persija Esports, and I think they just weren't given really an opportunity to do this last time. But you can see that they're even investing on some of those neon utilities for the clashes just to put a stop to any kind of push. And this begs the question right now for Persija. Can they actually commit with this Brimstone comp if they can't find a way to sync up their pushes because of the Bonkers utility? Because you mentioned the smoke a while ago, right? From Asterisk. If Persija isn't really too sure about their take, they're not going to be using those sky smokes because it's a one-way trip when you have that Brimstone. And I think right now, Bonkers learning from their mistakes and getting in the heads of Persija a bit.
I wonder if Asterisk is gonna get shot through the smoke here.
Yes, he did.
Spike down A.
Basically, he did. And there it is. He's dropped the spike already. There's a TP coming out from Minimize as he just wants to find the last target, Rosify. And it's all gonna be that. Bonkers creating a massive, massive lead here in terms of the money as they get, what, 2 flawless rounds in a row? They're building bank now, Dax and Persija. Well, they're gonna have to try to skim the top, skim off the fat just a little bit, so you know Bonkers doesn't get too unmanageable.
Yeah, change it from whole milk to skim milk real quick while you order your venti caramel macchiato. But this is already Bonkers.
Spice latte, all right?
Spice latte
with 50% Arnibal, bro.
Pumpkin spice, soya bean curd. Book it now, Starbs. But really, I think this is a problem right now for Persija because a map like Find has no mid. And while Persija is able to get on through with, you know, cheeky things like the Neons, the follow-up isn't there. And since they can't find that sync right now, it's Bonkers getting another kill again from afar. Scroll there, able to catch out Eeyore, pinning the tail on this donkey. And this is how Persija. Bit of a split push waiting to happen. Brimstone smokes are out. Orbital strike right now to flush out RDW. Can he get away in time? Oh, Famous though throwing the Fade Shells behind the EPC and throws the showstopper Ewan. Fireworks from afar. What kind of celebration is this from Persija? But not only that, the overdrive into play. Flinch that down. Gonna be dashing, slashing, and then quite the assassin. Rosify with the shock bolt even. The elements now going against Bonkers. And Minimize here, trying to minimize the damage. In the 1v3, this is looking very, very deadly. Hawks though are out. Rosify blinded, but can still see the light anyway coming his way. 3-3, and Persija throwing a lot at Bonkers to get that round.
Yeah, don't ever follow the light at the end of the tunnel. You know, that's what Rosify did. Didn't follow it. Just went against the grain. And I love that pick. I actually thought that it was looking to be a bad push for Persija, but they still had a lot left in the tank. And I didn't even know that fast lane into paint shells is such a weird tool that it blocks the vision out of the defender so that they don't really know where the mass of the paint shells was going to be coming from.
And not only that,
Pretty smart.
ooh, he's sliding in, but not through the fire and flames this time. Won't be effective enough. And this is great for Bonkers because they're using that molly early just to stem the tide, but they're also prepared for the slide-ins by Neon. But Persija now punishing the over-aggress here from Minabai. Seekers though on the hunt. He really gives the intel, but not the concussors that they need. And as Astros gets a takedown now, this is the punch for Persija. Nice slide-in though from Nas. He's going nitrous oxide instead. And in the shower now, might get a bit of help here from RDW from above. So the right-hand side of A site here capitalized on and controlled by Bonkers. For the left, for Persija, I really feel like they should rotate here instead of stay on site.
Yeah, but I mean, they are pretty adamant about fighting RDW already. The timing on that TP was actually pretty good. They've allowed Eeyore just to stay on the site itself, but you can see the willingness of Persija just to make sure, just in case, that Eeyore is still lurking here, because they already know he's the solo player for Persija. He's opened up the site on A multiple times.
Trap destroyed.
And Bonkers just, well, they're not going to be playing for anything other than just keeping these weapons for that following round.
Yeah, since they didn't get the conflict there towards that A site, Bonkers here hiding in the showers instead. By this point, they should be expecting Eeyore to use those moments of distraction, loud teleporter noise. You think, okay, they've rotated. We're going to be rushing there now to get back at them. But really, Bonkers here should be high time now to reassess the situation. It does feel like playing more of a safer style here for Bonkers can help them out. If they can actually get the frags onto the oncoming assault of Persija, then that's a perfect chance for them. Moments like with the Molly, trademarks, maybe even those shock bolts there to help out later on. Those are the tools that Bonkers can utilize for success, because if Persija can still get on through with those brim smokes, if they can get on through with the aggression anyway, it doesn't really matter if you're gonna throw that molly, because eventually Persija will be able to reset themselves and then try to drop the sky smokes, drop the push onto the site, and go for the takedowns. Loving though what I'm seeing so far. We're seeing right now more of a contest from Bonkers. Closer game than we've had in their last series. But right now, we're closing the distance with Flinch going all the way to the back of side and sees RDW from the corner here, Asarai.
He's done that before, excuse me, against Paper Rex, I believe, where he just like keeps charging in, always go for that swing out through the smoke. And it works. Flinch just knows the angle. He might die multiple times here. He might not have the best stats, but overall, the substance for the round itself is pretty solid for the entry. That being said, it's not yet over till it's over. The fight from Famous doesn't want to allow the push out, and Flinch so proactive. This is what I think we all really want to see from the Indonesian teams, is the aggression that they go to show. Being said though, Nas is still here. He's been spotted, he's been tagged, and PSJ just playing around.
At first, just has that lamp control. Bonkers trying to go for that A retake is just absolutely difficult. They really need someone like Minimize to throw those guiding lights in, or even if they're gonna be playing that flank, right, they have to cover the other side of it, because Persija Esports, as soon as they're on that, they're on the inside, that is where the value of the raise amplifies to twofold. And this is why these guys are playing a double duels competition right now on Bind. It's still that high octane action. And Bonkers, they're riding a roller coaster, but they kind of just want to ride a caterpillar instead, you know, the slower kind of train system there. Because if they can still keep on having to deal with Persija getting to run at them, getting this close and making these rounds go so quick, we're gonna get a repeat of what happened last time in this matchup. And while Bonkers has shown that they're an incredible team, it's still different when you're born and raised in SEA, Asura. You are born and raised in the duels, in the high octane action. And while the region intersect is interesting, this is where one region is able to capitalize on their strengths, the other cannot keep up with something that has been the standard for SEA for so long already.
And to be honest, again, Indonesia is just that region before that was always ready to fight. That was their main hook as a region itself, right? But
Mhm.
again, on the span of like less than a year from what we saw in APAC LCQ, they really have amped their game. And if there's some special sambal that they're just kind of devouring that's allowing them to these spicy moves, but it's working, man. It is absolutely working.
You know, there's a great Indonesian place here, Asrai, nearby my place. We can go sometimes.
hell
We can
yeah.
have more, so we can have more Indonesian food references. So yeah, I kind of got stuck with sambal, and then that was it.
It's the only one I know.
It's
Well,
the only one I know.
yeah, they also have like nasi goreng, but that's
Oh,
like
yeah, yeah,
Malaysia, Singapore, all. I
Dude,
don't know.
I have a whole list for you. There are two
Yeah.
types of chicken and a spring roll. Don't worry, I got you after after we're done casting all these
Oh,
matches.
hell
But
yeah, hell yeah.
But case in point, still, Bonkers, they already did a good job at the start, minimizing the impact of players like Flinch, able to psych out Asterisk, make him hesitate with the smokes. But right now, Flinch is just getting on through so many times to the other side, and that gives space for the likes of Eeyore, the likes of Rosify, and Famous to actually do their job and frag out and also flush out many of these players. But oh, overdrive time here from Flinch, and he's just zooming on in! Ticks, he can't handle that to minimize. Nice trade though. So high risk, high reward. Usually those Neon plays. Persija now, they got the opening that they need, but minimize now, bringing the damage anyway. If they're swinging and just kicking, might as well hit the headshots here. 3v2, great effort already by minimize. Big mistake from Asterisk, turn on around after the scan. Nos is there to go for the takedown. And while Scroll gave the intel, Rosify here falls to the hand of RDW. 4-6, that's better here from Bonkers.
Solid defense there. The back and forth between Minimize and Nas, just making it difficult for Bonkers to start cramming themselves into the site where, or not Bonkers, excuse me, Persija. Kind of awkward to see that too, because they were coming in one by one, which I think is how Persija does it, but because they don't have like that proper utility, it looked kind of awkward. That being said though, both teams still do have the money, and the stats that I was pointing out for RDW, not really as existent here because he hasn't really had the time or chance to get these initial pickoffs, but this time maybe as Persija just slow the pace down, that could be something. But oh, he's missed a huge shot. Actually, he connects it, but not enough to take down Flinch because it's a bang on the wall.
Yeah, just taps the corner there, and it's not even the best body part to hit. A little unfortunate because now the Neon speed is still valuable. Orbital strike though towards the lamps, given up already by Bonkers. And by the bench, there you have the shot that you're looking for, Asrai. You ask it, RDW give it. That's a beautiful pick-off to start things off. Hunter's Fury though, now the call. The showers here, trying to haze the short angle as much as possible. This tells Persija though that Bonkers is in control of the eastern quadrant of this A side. And RDW using that spot for confidence. Scroll now, putting back the bow and arrow, gets the 2K there instead. Might have been lined up even for the side of Persija. And the Seekers will find the final target. Just apt here with the sky, Bonkers with another one. And while we've seen a few frags from RDW, we've seen, you know, Nos go for the takedowns. I really feel like Minimize spikes out and seeks out the opposition pretty potently. But the other one is, you saw it in the round towards that B site instead. Since it's Bonkers, the only one with the flashes right now, and if Minimize is feeling very confident to go for the flash peaks, he can actually catch up players like Flinch, players like Asterisk while they're setting things up. And it's a perfect opportunity for Bonkers to tie it up when you look towards that sky.
Because he's stop fragging as well, you mentioned how he has those secrets. He's, I think, used it like 2 or 3 times already. Yeah. This is incredible to say at the least. Nas has already gone for the hard flank here, but these 2 slow or trademarks from Eeyore will stop him before he can make things happen. Maybe he can even use his wall to bypass that, but nah, just wants to go for the fight here. Smokes will be dissipating soon, so they gotta have this spike planted down ASAP, or else they're gonna get caught. And speaking of catch, Flinch has already been nabbed in the net. RDW, he's not allowing anybody to come through. He has the Phantom, he has the Tour de Force. He's basically your Swiss Army knife, actually your French Army knife, as he breaks through the offense of Persija. Oh,
Yes,
no.
Three guns, but Orbital Strike right now to go for the burn. Here comes Minimize and Scroll, and Scroll is just learn from their mistakes. It does feel like they're a bit more acclimated right now. Before we talk more about this half, I just have to say, the journey of Bonkers, the kind of impact that Niceaxe had back in VOT. So, and it kind of messes up their compositions a little bit. So they have these adjustments here instead. And if you're not gonna get RDW on that chamber, he can go for Jet, very flexible player. So there's a lot of things right now that Bonkers needed to get done right before the tournaments. And for the first series, very difficult against a very SEA oriented squad like Persija. These guys just in Bonkers. You have Bilski, you have Jordation, if I remember correctly. Those guys just able to watch these matches and learn from them.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think OCE in general, they've been watching APAC for quite a while because they're trying to figure out where they really fit in. Did they go to NA like what they did last year? Did they go here? They're here right now. And they just need that one opportunity, a one proper place to belong, to contend with the rest of the world. And right now, it's looking better for Bonkers. But Persija, if they really turn it up to 11 to 12, we might get that 13 very, very soon.
Well, it was, I believe, the other way around on the first time that they faced up on Haven, where I believe it was... oh no, it was still Bonkers that started on the defending side, where it ended 7-5. So the 6-6, not really, I think, out of tune from what we saw last time. The question now lies is, how effective can Nas really be? You mentioned how Minimize is going to be, it was the crucial factor in that first half, but now that they need something to spark the sights, Nas is going to be the one to do that. But the last time we saw him, he really, I felt like, dropped the ball when they were trying to do attacks, and it really messed up the tempo for Bonkers. So that being said, we'll have to see if Nas has learned his lesson, or are we going to see a repeat of this one next?
That's a bit of a struggle here. And we'll see now if Nas can step up to the plate. But Eeyore already backing on the way to get one. Nice movement here from Nas, though, to get the trade anyway. Bonkers, they're already on site, but the bounce with the shot falls, and Flinch just riding on in with the wave. Did you see the streak of lightning through the sights as Flinch just makes a play for himself? Asterisk, though, on the inside. Rosify right now gonna be there. Two-prong attack here from the side of Persija. Double peek now is the call. The scan is there, can't find the target. That is RDW. And he's using now the cart here to get the high ground, but the whiffs again from RDW in these moments. He knows it could have been a possibility for Bonkers, but Persija will prevent that from happening. 7-6 in favor of the defense, but that play from Flinch, perfectly balanced, perfectly timed, and perfectly aggressed.
Oh man, that was just a thing of beauty. Like, I think he already felt that he got one stun off onto someone because he followed the second hit of the relay bolt, and he was just like, yeah, I'm feeling it. Let's just go rush right in. Follow up to me, guys. No one was actually able to follow up, but he still got like 2 kills. So that was pretty dang huge. And this is why you see a lot of duelists, not even just the Neon only, actually pick up the Frenzy because of its power to just give you faster frags. I mean, Ghost has it's it's strong
yes.
suit. It's
Yes, Barry. I thought we weren't doing this, bro.
No, we're not. I just defaulted to Filipino for a second there, but
yeah.
yeah. It still is really good as an automatic pistol. as you can see.
It's really potent, and in all honesty, many Indonesian sides say Flinch, Famous, these guys, some of the most improved players compared from 2021 to 2022, and you can really see the difference that they have here right now that they make for the squad. And Flinch has been showing up, making a case to be one of the better duelists really here in the SCA scene, keeping parity with the likes of Forsaken last time, and this time he's trying to maximize stats and Neon value even more so. But here we go now. Bonkers are looking to siege towards that B site. There we have the fast lane though set up by the defense first. And this gives a chance for ER to actually go for the takedowns cleanly towards the hookah. And that's going to be the one there. But Famous now on the right-hand side. Nice throws of the paint cells before he dies. And anyone trying to jump in from the hookah, they're already cooked up to perfection here by Persija Esports. So no time left. Bonkers even go for the save here on their force fires, but Flinch right now, up close and personal. That's the flash value though. RDW gets two with a classic, but in the scrap fest, it's Persija Esports who still stands tall and proud. One soul and one more point.
All right, so I made a mistake with the 6-for-6 that I was talking about a while ago. That was their Haven match, or 7-5. The last time that they saw each other on Bind, it was actually Persija that started on the defending side. And there's an importance to this because that first half ended 10-2 in the favor of Persija, where Bonkers only was able to plant the spike 3 times out of the 12 rounds that was played in the first half, and it ended 10-2. So you really do see there was difficulties for Bonkers here in trying to make things happen, but I think Persija overreaching their expectations will get caught. Famous now being hounded by the rest of the squad, but he does have a really scary weapon, and he's making it work. Can go for the pistol here already. That swing is beautiful, but RDW finally manages it through. But you can see already the damage that Famous has done. I thought it was only going to be good for Bonkers here. There's only just that. Now Rosify in a 1 versus 1. He's going to have to guess here. But if RDW can actually spot that nobody's on the spike here, and he does have safe time to just hide on short and play the mind games against Rose. Oh wait, never mind.
Though, there's the dart already broken, and just a little tap from the Spectre will get the takedown. Rosify, he's gonna push it. He wants to go for that peek. That shock bolt though to anticipate it, and he does get the takedown! Enough of the AoE! Too little on the HP! And nicely done here by Persija to bring it back in this round in itself. A Vera Esports clutch moment there from Rosify, and he just blooms here at the group stage, my friend.
And Rosify isn't always that player that explodes the most from Persija, I'll be honest, but he does have his moments where his fundamentals allow him to clutch out these very intense situations. And I really like how he used his utility to full fruition there. I did mention that RDW did spot that the spike wasn't being diffused at all, but while that was happening, Rosify was making sure that Showers was actually cleared up. So his utility to just throw it on short made a lot more sense for him because, again, he cleared out that Showers earlier on.
Yeah, personally, I think Bonkers did the first step right in that round because they made the call to stack towards short, and that gamble paid off since Persija mostly smoked out, didn't really have enough firepower there, and Bonkers just getting 2 frags out of nowhere at the start of that round. But as soon as they got the site right, they already figured out that someone's there into Showers. Could have been a chance to actually just commit anyways, since they were on the lesser buy, since they were in the moment that if they can get this guy, they can get that gun, and just have that better arsenal overall. And because they didn't punish someone like Famous in the shower, he got 3 kills. You saw that classic takedown, just swipe from left to right, that mouse went. And for that point on, Rosify, he's calm, he's cool, collected. The damage was done there towards Bonkers. So here on the attacking side, I think there's a bit more of these struggles here from Bonkers because they're lacking that usual confidence that they have for these side takes. And it was a problem last time versus Persija. They proved themselves on the defense this time because they actually got to play it. But more or less, it's kind of the same errors here from Bonkers we're seeing right now, and especially when Persija gets in their face while they're setting things up.
Again, this is as good as Bonkers can get in terms of the map picks already, right? Because they've already they've already, what's the word, banned Breeze, which was what we saw. That was what, the 13-3. The bind was 13-2. But it feels like they still don't know their bind, especially when they have this set strategy of the Neon. It's not off anymore, or it's not really uncommon anymore, but it is quite interesting. Flinch, though, could get spotted here, and I think Minimize actually does almost get him, but I eat my words. Flinch, blood in the water, charges right in, does have the finger blaster, and he does get this counterpart, but there was the immediate refrag from both Skull and Tix. That being said, these two have gone through the ringer. Damage is already being done. Rosify coming in from the swing now. 2 versus 1. RDW, he always will have his teammates back. And with this tour de force, giving him the last kill, maybe this is the force back that Bonkers need to get themselves on track.
Yeah, Seeker's value, though, another factor here. Gotta say, both sides showing some good holds with the operators. And that could have been such a free kill onto Flinch if the chamber of Eeyore wasn't there. But then you could say the same case. You know, Rosify pushes, but who's looking for revenge and who has the angle? It's RDW. So there's more success right now for Bonkers when they gather that intel before anything else. Only problem is since they only have the they have the Sova Sky composition here. They're going to be looking to get that flash value at the same time. So it's a two-way kind of system. You're expecting a lot more here from Minimize, who will be dueling against Asterisk, feeling that someone's there. Probably the AoV, the Stim Beacon, just showing up and I'll take him down in that instance. It's 5v4 as Persija Esports has nothing much to lose. Only the eco round right now here for them.
Not gonna lie, I think I remember Stim Beacon AoE doesn't pop up anymore in front of opponents. That's like one of the things that made Brimstone so easy to counter like a year ago. So he might have just heard Asterisk actually use it than anything else. Eeyore still holding the angle here. He just does not care. Look at this. And he won't get away because the stuns were just too plentiful and overwhelming for him to handle. Bonkers slowly but surely, and he will be able to get the spike, get the sight, and Rosify once again in the same position he was before. He does have all utilities, but not the weapon that he needs.
Yeah, I think this is where we can talk about Persija and their tendency to heat up and then overheat. A squad willing to fight like this has those tendencies to over-aggress, to be over-eager. And for Bonkers, if they capitalize on more initial positions that defend themselves, knowing that Persija is coming their way, then that is their plan of... That's such a good plan of action for them. Thing is, though, Persija throws it for a loop, and it's usually when Bonkers is waiting for the execute, that's when someone like Flinch or Famous gets in their way in the first place. But if it's more standard there, if Persija is throwing their lives to the meat grinder for no real reason, Bonkers as a squad that will capitalize on that. And what a step up here from the initiators especially. You expect RDW to pop off. He is looking to be one of the stars from the OC region that you want to keep an eye of. But we usually see Flinch for Scroll rather with the shot calls here for the squad. You know, minimize their tactically sound. Also finding ways to maximize that kind of utility. And here for Bonkers, every little edge they can get, every extra flash value that they can have in difference compared to the Persija setup. And that's a perfect chance for them to go for that push. For the Aldrone now is the scouts. Rosify will back on the way and respect the drone coming his way. Towards the elbow, can he hide from it though? But no, the tag is there and that's absolute value in the hunt now. With the hunt is Fury. Does it go all the way to the other side? Rosify will survive, but while this happens, it's not coming on in. Eeyore, though, with the trade. Nice spray down from Minimize in response. And now the backside. It will have, well, no one there. The Sova right behind the walls instead. The Hunter's Fury now through the walls will come courtesy of Persija. Rosify with that takedown. Enough of a push, though, from Skrull to get the answer. RDW on board. Famous right now, looking to be the raised star here. And it's Skrull versus Famous, but put it on the walk of fame for Persija because this is one jersey you have to retire 10-8 as Famous saves the day.
What a ranked demon moment there for Famous. Just, they don't even know that he's there, unfortunately. Good for Rosify to deny the planter from coming in, so that really pressured the last player from Bonkers just to keep charging in. And the positioning, look at this. I wonder how he got that last kill. Oh, just pure reactionary. Skrull didn't even see him coming. And that's Persija for you. That being said, they did have to use a lot of utility here, but Bonkers still holding on.
Yo, Bonkers for now. All the rifles into play. Now they're just looking for the picks, trying to see if Persija Esports will over-aggress one more time. What I've seen from Persija, they look for I'd say a signal, a sign, not just from the recon darts here, courtesy of Rosefy. No, it sometimes is just wherever they can get a single sight line, suddenly back on the way, and then retool themselves for that anticipation of the push. So because of the Trailblazer now, Persija has an inkling that their shower take is upon them. Nozdo with a beautiful stun, and since the Orbital Strike is there, Famous is forced to have that walk of shame. Bonkers now with the first pickoff, but Rosefy finds the answer on the lurk. Seekers though now gonna be valuable one more time. Exposes Eeyore, is on the right hand side. Molly though will prevent the push, and the desync here now gives Flinch the opportunity to get a pickoff for free. Trapped into the showers. It's looking more like a sauna instead because the heat is on towards Bonkers. Takes a minimize now. They have to shoot their way out of this one. Can they try? Can they get onto the site in the first place? Because someone like Eeyore, he's watching like a hawk here, Asarai.
And he still saves up his TP, so if somebody pushes through here, he can always just come back. But it doesn't need it. Such a fast reactionary to what the flash was to come from Minimize there. And Bonkers, I thought they actually had the round, but somehow, you said it already, the desync. They were doing so well in showers, but their short needed a whole bunch more. Flinch was just holding angles here. And look at how Squall just charged right in. Missing the beat that U-Haul is always a big threat, especially in the hands of Persija. In control of Persija, rather. Bonkers, well, they've definitely dropped a huge round there.
Yeah, the bat's rolling on the way right now. And for Bonkers, good effort to try and go for a three-prong system. They had so many plans of action, but since Persija got the frag over towards B side, got the frag towards the short, it just trapped really Bonkers in their own ways. But here we go now, 4v4. Noz tried to make something happen. Nice fade down though from Flinch. Guiding Light is there, and Rosefy he's seen, but it's actually minimized going after Flinch instead. Rosefy now reacting in time. We'll get to onside here. It's Aster's trying to hold, but Scroll will make the shot count this time. The reinforcements are needed as the Owl Drone will notice that both RDW and Scroll are on site. Since Bonkers now knows Persija just coming in from the hookah instead. It's a backside plant, shot that fly. There we go with the counter, and nice lob there from Scroll.
I wonder if they know that Eeyore actually doubled up with Rosefy here. Probably not, but there is a massive crossfire between these two. Eeyore spotted already, should go down to RDW. There it is. Spotted him, gutted him. And Bonkers, my gosh, these shock darts as well as both sofas just barely being spotted by either side is giving me some pretty hefty anxiety attacks here.
It's okay, I'm here for you. Now correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know, I honestly know my cricket, but I think that was a bit of a beamer right there. Just throws it straight at him towards that hookah. And for one thing that Skrull is really able to do for this team is maximize that dart value. It's not just the recon bolts that help out the squad. His shock darts are absolutely potent also at flushing out Persija here. In case in point, still alive, still fighting, and still able to get the punish. You can see that when Persija just doesn't have really the buy here, he kind of just peek and, you know, just say, let's get this over with.
They do that so well, to be honest. Now, Bonkers, yeah, they've actually reset the economy now for Persija. Wonder if Flinch here will have a good angle. Okay, never mind. This dog's gonna make his life hell. There it is. Oh, he's gonna get pop shot through the smoke.
That's the right moment this early on.
So mean from Bonkers, but what can he really do? Asterisk though, swinging wide as he is boosted by the stim beacon. Not gonna have any effect there, as I think Persija were very much aware of what was to come. Or rather, Bonkers. And now Bonk, they're about to hit the site where only Famous has 1 HP and a dream.
30 seconds left.
Should be Bonkers' victory. Gotta say though, Asarai, great sound effects with the Trailblazer. When are you gonna release a Valorant voice pack? Because I have a lot of clips of you making sound effects, and I think Riot should hire you for the Filipino dub of Valorant. I'm not just not the agents in the guns, the utilities. You should be the voice of that, my friend. You're amazing.
Wow, thank you. If there's like a Barong Tagalog bundle that's gonna come out where we see like a Vandal or a Phantom in Barong Tagalog, bro. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, and then the melee's Wallis, Broom, you know. Yeah, exactly. Pretty straightforward round for Bonkers. In all honesty, they have the guns. Persija doesn't, and when Persija doesn't have the guns, they just push forward with someone like that chamber, just to try and see if they can get the picks. But this is now getting closer and closer, and these map number ones between Persija and Bonkers looking very interesting so far. That Haven match did not disappoint, and then Persija started to run away with that series in maps 2 and 3. But since we have a bit of time, that map draft right now, I'm really intrigued to see what Bonkers is going to do on Fracture. Not the best record for them in terms of the stats, but there is that confidence. But they can't be too confident right now because it's still the game afoot, and Eeyore is there to go for the takedown. Oh, Aster's though, right in the middle of the fast lane. He's the toll gate there, Aster. I cannot even stop it whatsoever. And the tap from Flinch, commanding presence one more time. Persija Esports just in the right place at these right moments.
They can make this even more of a living hell. No timing. Flinch has already gone through onto elbow, thinking that it was going to be an easy take there. A couple of mistakes for Bonkers, forcing them to, well, just lose these rounds. Oh, maybe it's not really mistakes, but I think they just get outsped by Persija. That being said, Rosify still has saved up his Hunter's Fury, so that's going to be a pivotal ultimate coming into this possible last round.
And that's the thing, the impact of speed from Persija Esports is unquestionably unmatched right now. When you have moments there where you're right in the middle of things like the fast lane, thinking that that's going to be the play, and the anticipation here for Persija, that prediction that pans out, it really gives them the edge in this series. Bonkers, they've done so much better already compared to their last outing on Bind, proving that they've learned their lessons. But there's still that lack of firepower when they're spread on around. They want to have all these opportunities, these extra strategies to go for the rotations, because Bind is such a congested map. But when that happens, Persija Esports are happy to take those 1v1s, 1v2s, and they're the ones who come out ahead. So it's really such a difficult scenario right now for Bonkers. Can they just go for the all-in towards the site just to succeed? It's 4 stacking towards short. Eeyore, though, at the right place here with the operator. Can't get the shot, but he does not fear his own Hunter's Fury. You can see it there, the covering fire from the lightning. And Eeyore will strike suddenly before anyone could react. Hunter's Fury, though, is the call. And here comes Bonkers now, as Minimize does get the takedown slide on Indo from Flinch. And where did he come from? From the showers yet again. Flinch right now. No flinches whatsoever. Eyes wide open. Scroll, though, able to answer back. And since Famous clears out the lamps here with the showstopper, all that chaos, all that action, it's a peaceful transition towards B-side instead here.
Looks like both of them will have to go for TP or something. Nope, they're gonna go straight for spawn here. Could work. They can hear all the footsteps, and RDW as well as Skrull looking both in the same direction. How does Eeyore still survive that? Even the shock dart, he's still alive! But they can't go through the murder hole. You know why it's called that? Because of the absolute murder they're gonna go through if they get swung by RDW. The timing is gonna be key. Beautiful first shot, slows down Eeyore. And he's TP'd out. He's gonna just save the operator that's sped up, or that has been left up on their own side of the spawn, and have hope to try again in the next round. One more for Bonkers, and we're looking at overtime.
One more hit to this doggo, and we go for more. But you can see the difference here, Aster, right? When Bonkers can actually execute on their extra strategy, they're a squad responsible enough to realize, okay, this A side is way too chaotic. This is the SCA mess that we do not want to get into. And instead, the transition there towards B, the absolute stealthiness, I have to say, as we go for a timeout. Because no one really noticed Skrull just hoof it towards that B side. Suddenly he's there. Suddenly he's ready for the spike plant. And since Persija couldn't even try and make that TP play work, they were read like a book there by Bonkers in response. So this series now, this is a rage match that's not looking to disappoint whatsoever. Persija able to still show off their strengths. Players like Flinch, Rosify coming up big, especially that Neon on the side of Persija. But Bonkers, they know where they have the advantage. They can get more value from their utilities, their flashes. RDW, unmatched really with the sniping right now. And I gotta give a bit of props really to how Scroll has stepped up even more so here for the side of Bonkers. He isn't really the most, I'd say, fantastic player here from the Bonkers side, but he's really coming up strong with not only the kills, but also the moments in these heated decisions.
And it goes to show, right, that he can outpace even Rosify, who is like 19 bombing right now for Persija. And that's saying something a lot, because both of these Sovas have really gone above and beyond just to clutch out certain rounds or create so much tempo. Flinch tempering the angles there. Hope that maybe he can find a cheeky little position here, which actually he can. Minimize. Oh, wait, never mind. Yeah, Minimize is there. He's going to try to stop the utility from being thrown out. But he's got to be careful in his own right, because now they know where he actually is. Slowed down. Used everything but his ultimate. He's able to get away, but he kind of committed to the U-Haul, or to the hookah position too much. This does work in forcing back Bonkers.
Personally, though, I think that's a big win for Bonkers, since they cleared out the hookah. And if you can see what he has in his hands right now, that's the judge. And, well, the execution comes before even the verdict, courtesy of RDW. If Bonkers just ran into that one, that would have been very, very deadly no matter what, since Flinch didn't even show he had the judge. He swapped on over to Sheriff as soon as the Trailblazer was looking for him. So already good heads up here for Bonkers to get that map
30
control.
seconds left.
But problem here, Asarai, time is ticking. They're gonna have to commit soon. You can see here, already have Asterisk. Fame was prepared for this side take. And Bonkers now, their final chance is upon us. Orbital Strike, though, is the call. And since they saw the laser there, Famous didn't even bother looking right. Nos will get the takedown instead, not fearing the flames whatsoever. Spike now, gonna get planted, and the flush out again onto CQC is on. Nos now trying to lead the charge. There we have the dart thrown on out. Doesn't get the value. It's forced to get broken there by the side of Persija. And while the lightning strikes already, degrading the bolts as much as possible, here comes Asterisk just to die. Eeyore, though, with the trade on to Minimize. 4v2 situation, though, and seems like Bonkers, they already have this one in control. Unless Rosify here can turn it to a bouquet. Apparently, he will wilt on away. We go to overtime.
Wow, just
overtime.
Bonkers not even caring anymore about any utility that Persija is willing to throw out. They will just fight against it. They are taking a page out of the book of Persija here, because Persija does that often. Bonkers doing just the same. Had so many numbers to throw back, and I really, really love that triple U-Haul that they just did. It kind of felt a little bit awkward, but if somebody from Bonkers actually pushes up, they will have so much refrag power on that one. As you mentioned, here we are out of regulation. And both teams not willing to take the first loss in this very much venerable series. As again, this is the elimination already.
Yeah, an actual adequate game on bind right now between these two. Thing is, though, we saw it there for Bonkers. If they can get those tighter angles under their control on the attacking side, they really hamper some of the more ambitious plays here from Persija. But they're now on the defense. They've proven that they can contend with Persija on this half. Can they keep up the momentum, though, after winning the last round of that second half? Spray down, though, from RDW. Tried to break a few things here and there. Minimize, though, towards the corner. Has one more guiding light. They see, though, the push and the trigger discipline here from Minimize to finally get the takedowns. Two here for the sky. Make that the third. And it's just maximum effort from Minimize. Nos is there also to just keep the crossfire on. And Bonkers, that is a home run of a round. Can they just win it from this point on?
And they give Oceania a chance here, from looking so shaky on bind to just looking hella better it is or hella different. Bonkers is doing it here, Dax, for lack of a better term. And Persija, well, this is overtime, so they will have money. They will change the route, or they will change the sides, but I don't think it matters anymore. Bonkers just know what they have to do on each and every portion of this map. Might be Persija just doing to actually pick this up. But Bonkers, they've done their homework.
They've done their homework to figure out this puzzle. The only thing they need to now is put that last piece in the middle to frame this victory. Minimize though, tries to go for the guiding light play, and he gets tapped away, still damaged there by Famous anyway. Just goes through the bird towards the sky, and low HP here as the flash play just does not pan out for them. But Bonkers now watching over the showers, going for the wall bangs, and Tix will see Asterisk right in the middle of that to get that takedown. Flinch though with the trade. Still the efforts here from the duelist, and Famous gonna get on the board as well. He knows he has just isolated Minimize here on the other side, and the sky now will be down to the ground. Not much valuable there. But here comes Flinch again. Olaf now here to scroll though. Slide on in, and too far on away. The distance the Neon can cover. One overtime, that's not enough for this one. We go to a second.
Zoom, zoom, baby. Zoom, zoom. As Flinch gives PSJ here a fighting chance. Also, that one from Famous, he just kind of positioned himself on showers, where I think Bonkers weren't really prepared to deal with him. Because especially Minimize, as you mentioned, because he got tapped like that, he really felt apprehensive to start pushing forward and give more control to Persija. He wanted to go for the pinch, but it seems like there was a disconnect from Bonkers here as to how to deal with the last person, because it's either they thought that it's only Asterisk holding the fort there, but the dog did find two players hovering on showers. So I don't know what Bonkers was trying to do at that point, but oh, that's a trade for Eeyore.
Fusion. Oh, Persija. 3 goals in a row. It's like penalty kicks, man. Suddenly, 1, 2, 3 into the net. And Famous with Eeyore actually going for the forts. This is clean here for Persija. Everything goes Ori for the side of Bonkers. Arai rather. Nice pronunciation there. But Flinch, we know how to say his name. And we know what the game here of Persija is. A flawless win in the commanding attacking side on the second OT.
They just waited for Bonkers to get antsy. They got them every single turn. Even Eeyore through the smoke. That is rather disgusting. Bonkers, maybe they can do it again. That last, as I mentioned, you're not too phased anymore by the rounds here. And Persija seemingly always one step ahead, even if it is just cheek to cheek right now between these two. We'll see how this goes.
Smokes are out, and for Bonkers, the pressure is there. They need to maximize the efforts here, as well as the utilities from Minimize. You can see the big difference when his flashes aren't into play. And instead now, they're reinforcing. And you don't get that revenge duel anymore. You get more of a staff. The paint chills getting in the way. The Trailblazer perhaps an early leap there from the sky. Famous now, he is known to be here, but he doesn't care, as he's just imposing his will towards this shower side. He does get a bit of help though from Asterisk. But what a slow play from Bonkers. They're looking to wind down the clock and punish anything that can come out here from Persija. Perhaps even just beat out a few utilities early on.
Bonkers have really yet to actually use any utility, but Persija's been like throwing both Brimstone and Raze bit by bit. Rosify's Recon Dart is going to be incredibly crucial. If he throws it out right now, oh, he almost gets away. He does, sliver of HP, but he still will have his shock darts. Now they know it's going to be the big hit. You do see the triple stack already. Flinch is going to be starting to slow them down. Uses the wall, sees the cross, but he's doing as best as he can to maybe stop them dead in the tracks. It's not working. Eeyore is here though, but he's caught out in the open. Now, it's a very, very weird take. Aster still does damage. Can he stop the plant on the spike? Not going to happen. But he is the last bastion of hope. He makes some waves. He makes some shots connect. But in the end, Bonkers still hold on. Triple overtime, Dax. And the series continues, or the game continues.
That's right. This is the first game of the first series. And we're doing all three. We're here for a long day, folks, and we got this. We got this. You guys should have this too. But you can see here, this was well played by the side of Bonkers, since they got so much of Persija to commit towards the tower side. They knew the Brimstone was around there thanks to the smokes. They knew the Raze was there. And since they didn't have that visual contact whatsoever, they were just psyching out Persija for so long that on that B hit, it was a lot weaker. Instead, yes, it was Rosify getting that intel, and he did get on away, but it didn't matter because from that point on, even if the Sova was dead or just backing on out, that was the space needed by Bonkers to get things going. And when they find that kind of opening, that is where Bonkers really shines compared to when they're just looking to force things out. If Persija is ill-prepared and is unmanned on the site, it makes such a big difference because we see from Persija, their whole game style for this map with a double duelist is either that trade or crossfire system, and Bonkers is the one with that utility vantage point, the utility advantage. And look at Minimize, 25 takedowns, RDW with 21. You can really see who's stepping up here for Bonkers right now.
Really do. From a rotation standpoint, I was actually surprised about how Persija kind of just committed too much into defending showers and threw everything that could have helped them in the post, right? And again, if Famous is a crack shot, he doesn't really need it, but imagine if they had maybe just the paint shells to start throwing out onto Teleporter once more members of Bonkers were coming in. You know, I don't know what's happening here, but it really does feel like there was some weird disconnect there from Persija. Could be the exhaustion in this first game of the first series, but it is a slogfest right now, Dax. It's turned into the marathon and not the sprint.
Well, for all these guys, though, the power through has to be real. I feel like, though, if any of these sides lose this map right now, it's gonna take a heavy mental reset just to get back into it, seeing how close this game can be. But we go now into another overtime, third overtime, right? As you said.
Yeah.
30 seconds left.
Bonkers here over onto the corner. Might be the perfect opening for Minimize if ever. But Eeyore's watching that and quick on the trigger finger. Now, the sky falls early on, and you can feel the weight of the world on the shoulders of Bonkers. Retake now is the call to action here for Bonkers. They want to regroup before anything else. Beautiful wall bangs though from RDW, trying to get some damage. Nas here right behind the smoke even, so elbow control still in the hands of Bonkers to try and get a two-prong attack in. Retake now is a go. Fast lane is there. 1-for-1 trade to start things off from RDW. Famous though, and Rosify will get the takedowns anyway. And Persija, they just set up those windows of opportunity for themselves, peered on through where Bonkers could come from, and they were ready again to shoot them down.
They didn't have Tix's smokes anymore. I believe Tix used everything that they had much earlier on into the round. I think this was what Persija was kind of betting on the fact on, that we're just much more comfortable if Tix doesn't have his smokes. And even though we will be left with like 20 seconds to push, we're more willing to risk that and go for a dry contact than trying to go through smokes and, you know, just get crossfired by like Bonkers plays. At least with dry contact, they can spot somebody. And it actually worked somehow with Eeyore getting that first pick onto Minimize. That being said, Famous, he's brought out the operator. What a cheeky little lad he is. And pretty sure Bonkers didn't even know that that was an option for Persija.
And this is the worst kind of loss here for Bonkers. Minimize again. His value is really unmatched right now because he's the only agent in this game with those flashes. So Bonkers, they're going to have to commit early on with the smokes. Heavy investment just to get towards that site. And we're looking at Noz to really step it up here for the team. Mid left, the spike now should be planted. Pulses come. The shock bolts are there to clear out these closer quarters, but the molly is into play. Scroll though now with the find onto Flitch. Great punish onto the neon push. 4v4 though here, as Ryan. You can see Famous still staying on the high ground and looking for any opportunity, any mistake of movement for Bonkers.
And this is the problem. Operator is not really the best kind of weapon for these kind of fights. So ER is going to have to start something. That shock dart is good. They spot the double up from Bonkers onto U-Haul. There's 3 people here. Nas, Tix, and Scroll now hoping to maybe push it even further. And oh boy, you know they will. That initial pick from Famous was good, but the follow-through not enough, as it seems like Persija trying to overcompensate the operator buy that they have. And here we go once again, Quadra overtime, Dax.
Go again, and let's see who will win it this time. Scroll, though, you gotta say he's a learning machine. He understands what Flinch wants to do every single time on those A retakes. Flinch needs a bit of that distance anyway to execute the shock bolts and the slides in tune. And this really narrows down where Flinch can come from. And from that point on, Scroll getting the first, finding the second, watching that angle. And again, just a big effort and a big adjustment there from the Sova of Bonkers to help them out. But we go for more, and Persija this time. Interesting enough, a slow play here just to figure out what the setup here for Bonkers is. Big moment for Minimize. If he can stay alive and become valuable for the team, then that can be a big help here for Bonkers in this kind of situation. One op though in the hands of RDW. Is all the way to the showers. His rendezvous is set up for the backside, so it's all across that A side. And this might work out perfectly here for Persija, for Bonkers rather. If they do not get picked off towards B, they might just run into those sightlines later on towards A instead.
It will be difficult to kind of match against that, because RDW by himself can just do so much damage. Defensive smokes to come through. If Persija really do decide to go for this B take, Minimize has both of his flashes. He has Nas on the cross. This smoke is not going to leave much time for Persija to just push through. They're going to have to start moving, doing something. There's the peek out from Flinch, and they know Stim Beacon, that one is right here. Famous opens things up, but he still has so much to deal with. Opens things up beautifully, though. 9 seconds on the clock. But it's not looking too hot at all. Does he have time? Asterisk, did he pick up the spike? No, he did not! It's all about the kills. Can he find the last one? RDW knows about this, and he just backs away. Wins the round without even touching any member of Persija. And now, the smiley face comes out. And you know, Bonkers feeling themselves once again.
Dude, RDW had the best round. He's the absolute MVP. All he did was stay on A site, try to rotate, and then win the round rather for the team. Who else can do that? Huh? Asterai, who else can do that?
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
And just win. Those kind of people who just make that money day by day just by doing nothing. It's incredible. But it was such a good hold from Bonkers, don't get me wrong. Nas understanding when the smoke would dissipate, watching that timer, syncing it right, and getting a takedown. And not only that, since he had someone like Tix anchoring on the site, even if Famous got through the hookah angle and had the angle versus the guarded there, it still was the Brimstone doing the damage against the Chamber, finding that pickoff later on. Really, just MVP efforts here for Bonkers all throughout, showing their report, showing how much they've learned from their mistakes so far in this series. But this is it. Match point now, map point rather, for Bonkers as they're on the attacking side. Great intel though, courtesy of Rosify. They know it's a heavy step towards the fountain here. And while there's still an option for Bonkers to use the teleporter, it's already a rotation from Famous anyway. Minimize though versus Flinch. This has been the duel to start off many of these overtimes. Minimize gonna be peering on through as the smoke drops. Flinch though cannot be hit. Bonkers now, finally, they will go for the call to action. A heavy rotation though from Persija. I feel like that's one player too much. So all eyes now are on ER the anchor. And can he actually get the takedowns here? Sees the first. Aster's there, ready for the crossbar. Gets there in time. That's the use of the Stim Beacon for the rotation. It's 4v3. Persija is able to get the bad advantage. But you've mentioned it, Asterai. In a blink of an eye, we teleport again towards the B site. And look who's set up for the trap. RDW. Just giving a magic cylinder to Famous. And the spike now is planted. 3v3 scenario. Persija on site.
Astros, does he still have a smoke? He does not. And he's getting caught off here by Minimize, throwing out the flashes. They should know that at least a couple have already pushed up onto the site. RDW still has an angle onto... Oh my god! The double spray down from Rosify! They know where RDW His push back. Now Aster's, all he has to do is hold the fort. Can he actually spot him? The legs! Oh, he broke the legs! Oh my goodness! Bonkers doing by breaking the legs! RDW!
Kill breakers and more.
And they really wanted to run down the time. Having a double duelist yet again might not be the prescription that the doctor has ordered, right? So with all of that being said, this is going to be something to definitely check out for. Bonkers going to be on the attacking end first as they come rushing into the site now. They're waiting for this camera to spot on anything, and Asters is so close to being swung by both Minimize and Nas that his camera or his smoke might actually get spotted.
Yeah, as soon as the smoke drops, here comes the side of Bonkers. Scroll with the takedown onto Asterisk. You wish for that, right? And Bonkers will command its kill. But now, Eeyore with the hold at least gets one with the Frenzy. Pain Chill's thrown on over. Famous might be able to get a kill here for free, and Minimize is forced on out. Actually, Ignite, not the best cover. Getting wall banged right now, tapped on the way. But at least the breach is still alive. Flinch though now timing it and getting the kill on the temple. Minimize falls. Push comes to shove. It's 3v3, but takes us there yet again. Just such a standout on these holds for the sites, whether on attack or the defense. It's a different kind of actor. Someone reliable here for that Astra. But RTW, what are you doing there? Trying to play with the cams rather than the shots. 26 HP though for Flinch. Time is running on out. And Nas swings from the tower instead to give Bonkers that first round. But tick, 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 boom. Tix is just crazy every single time he's able to just hold onto one position and play with the sight lines that he has adjusted for the squad.
Yeah, that being said, this setup from who was it, Asterisk as well as Famous, or what was it? Eeyore, I believe, wasn't as clean as I kind of wanted it to witness, because again they were waiting for the camera to actually spot something, but I think it was in a position that doesn't really see anything up until the attackers are so close right in front of you. That being said, Eeyore, a bit of a madman excursion there outside of B main as he just jumps up and down to get that information. Well, he did get it, and thankfully enough did not get any damage blasted on him whatsoever. So that being said here, Bonkers taken out, still wanting to go for that B site as they slowly creep up and force PSJ to get just compressed closer and closer onto the site itself. And this lineup, let's see where this goes.
Yeah, it's painful to stay on site here on Fracture. So many open angles. Bonkers given the space and the opportunity to take the better positions here. And onto the tower right now. Nas looking for a pick off. Those blast backing Asters, not letting him go up the stairs. It's just so painful. You think about it. You're trying to climb up the stairs, someone just kicks you, you're rolling down, try to climb back up again. It's that story of Sisyphus, I believe, where you just keep trying to roll the boulder up. And while Bonkers, instead of just kicking it, they actually have a bat. And they tumble on down the Persija side. So 2-0. And pretty clean 2 rounds here from Bonkers so far, showing how much experience that they've had on Fracture here in general.
Excuse me, you're not wrong. And honestly, that was just, again, one of the things that a lot of the teams that have been playing on Fracture do experience is that you really have to double down onto the sites here. But Bonkers are not really allowing the defenders to make that happen. But now that they do have some monies, these wire traps, Cypher traps, allowing for a bit more confidence for them to just hunker down. The Cyphers helping out a lot more, and Bonkers gets pushed back. Tix and Scrawl will have to find their way once again. Maybe it's the A side. Maybe they can go for the ropes. This would be the time to do so because they still have 1 minute left onto that timer. And Scrawl just opening things slowly but surely on A main.
Yeah, a small point of warning though for Persija. They kept investments towards the southern side of the map. Arcade there early uncontested, and RDW getting a kill in such an easy fashion. Luckily though, and well timed by Persija to trade it out anyway. But still, map like this, 2-prong attacks, very, very likely. And Persija, if they want to start playing rounds on the defense, they're gonna have to, you know, be able to get the holds or just somehow hit shots like that. What a lucky shot there from Flitch. He just sprayed, and the bullet decided to home on in. Sometimes the game just says you guys win this round, and for Scroll, He's not gonna be winning any other fights there. 1-2, Persija getting on the board. It does feel like right now, we still have to keep an eye out on where Eeyore and Asterisk are, with the guns especially. They're more than happy to contend early on. But look at this replay. Oh, he flicks even. He flicks upward, thinking maybe he's there on the staircase. But the Vandal spray. Sometimes you believe, and sometimes you achieve.
Hey man, I'm just gonna say that was probably 50% lucky, 50% skill. Because I don't know who can actually control the Vandal spray at that far of a distance and get a shot off, even if like you can see your opponents. But maybe it's Nas there. I don't know.
Wouldn't be surprised that RDW peek is out. So guns are out here, Asteroid, and it's a slower play right now for Bonkers. They already know that when they have the scout of where the Cypher is, it actually is a better chance to go for the rotation instead. And you can see a 4-stack here moving towards that B site. RDW, though, still on the lurk. And he's looking to challenge ER if ever, but ER is just watching him. They don't know where this camera is. It's just on the whole time, Asteroid, and
yeah,
Bonkers just letting them.
I think I've seen just Sinatra use this primarily, or maybe used against Sinatra. I can't remember, but it really is such a strong camera because it's not difficult to point out, and it's actually really incredibly strong. Flinch by himself now has pushed back the rest of the attackers. 30 seconds more, and it seems like he's heard so much already. Eeyore just having eyes on RDW, sees it, spots it, and expends it as soon as Eeyore, I believe, has been, or Flinch has been knocked off by Tix. Comes in, tries to push, spike's been dropped. Now it's up to Skrull to maybe make some waves happen. Ooh la la, look at the damage here from Skrull. You mentioned it already when he was on the Sova. Now on this Viper. He's also ready to coil and strike. Will not have the time though. That should be it, and PSJ have won the round already.
Yeah, nice effort there from Skrull again. He's coming up big during the, I'd say, last gasps of Bonkers in the APAC Challengers. But that was a hot minute and a half there, Azrai. How long did Eeyore just keep watching RDW? This is like a peeping Tom. He's just watching this guy, and as soon as he drops down, he says, "Hello, I've been expecting you." You know that series U? It's kind of like that. It's kind of scary, actually.
It really is. Feeling like I'm watching a horror movie here or something. Horror rant.
Horror rant. It was spooky. And oh, RDW, the great escape! Can he make it? Oh no! RDW! He just falls to his own death, and Rose finds there as well. Persija, they went for the chase, and this is what we're talking about, the aggression that can come on in from the defense. The fight for spit now into play, and the east side fully covered on its outskirts. If Persija, though, can make it through to the other side, it is perfect for them for the likes of Famous. Some blast back hops can give him a chance to go for the backstab. The thing is, Skrull is on the outside of the Viper spit right now. Gonna be at least getting back in to get the integration on. Here we go though with the drop down. Skrull with one. Rosefire is there as well. Famous now finally flying high to get the takedowns. And it's all up to Tix, but he's so far away. On the hallway. That will be his demise. The spray there for Famous gives Persija that last round, but the chase onto RDW, you can see that if you hesitate during the round itself, when the gates are open and you see him try to escape like this, there is no escaping from Persia's speed.
One enemy remaining.
Gotta say, Flinch did a really good job at controlling himself from, rather than just like frantically tapping away at the classic. He knew that that's gonna give RDW more chance to escape. He just like slowly tapped it. Just slowly but surely.
Cage triggered.
And it worked out. Man, RDW is like the highlight reel for Bonkers. But he also is like, at some point, the
low light reel.
Yeah, the kingdom's jester, you know?
Yeah. It happens when you have a player that impactful, and then you see the rare whip happen or something funny like that. It's like, oh, he's still the guy to watch out for in the other way. But the Rolling Thunder now is the call, and oh, this counter earthquakes here. as Persija tries to stem the push. But RDW now going back to his own highlights. We'll highlight the round with that first grab. Neural Theft also to get that intel. Now, Persija gonna struggle to even play with the smokes in the first place. Here we go though, drop down now. And we have Famous getting rid of Nos, but minimize Pierce on through the doorway. Peekaboo, the breach sees you. PSJ, can they still force anything out? They do have the operator in hand. Give it up for the rifles instead, but Tix here from above finds the second, and he's dropping these fools like easy flies. 3 for 3 right now on the scoreline, tied up again. Bonkers keeping parity, preventing Persija from running away to the other midfield.
Yeah. That initial pick onto ER already gave them the round, to be honest, because they really needed somebody to stay on the side and maybe get a trade-off. And even though Rosify used his Rolling Thunder, there was already so much set up by Bonkers that no one from PSJ could have actually pushed up alongside a huge ultimate. Maybe a steady hand or a calmer hand, you know, just kind of wait a little bit longer as they start moving in rather than at the start of the round just to counter the take from Bonkers was the much better play. That being said, though, they've saved up enough money. Flinch does get himself the operator, and the Skrull is the first target on that victim board.
Up is out, and now Persija here waiting for the opportunity. Flinch though. Oh, he misses this time. We know how potent he can be on the operator, but with the fault line, there is just no chance to hit that shot. And Flinch now blows bits like his vision. Nos though finds Famous up in the air after the showstopper is launched. Takes on the other side with Cosmic Divide. Here comes the showstopper also from Nos, I believe. He will launch it towards the spawn, but find no one to call it home. Spike now planted. Wall dissipates. And ER going up on the drop to try and move on around Asterisk though. Ready with the molly perhaps. Can flush out the corner or two. But this is now dissipate into play. Bonkers peeking and trying to go for the takedowns. ER though in the middle of everything. Still Tix is there to catch him out. And from above, you still have Nos in that power position. A watchtower for Bonkers to get that lead.
Love the challenge there. Again, look at how just they were able to just charging up on the site and leave nothing left. Is it just me, or is that one person A main always it feels like the sacrificial lamb? And the retake for Persija just shy a bit of being enough to actually beat out Bonkers here. With all that being said, the stats aren't as far, but you can see it's much well spread out for the Bonkers roster. Speaking of which, yeah.
Good start for Nos though. And you really see a bit of the struggles right now for Persija. And when they're not able to aggress like this, right? Flinch here, he's on the chase, but Bonkers, they know they have the gun advantage. They are ready to go for the push. And if they just hold on forward, might be a better chance, because this gives a chance here actually for Rosify to come in from behind and actually get that takedown. Nice tap though from Flinch. RDW into the corner. Famous though, ready to go for more. At the very least, Bonkers is able to keep control of their push. It gives them now a 5-3 scoreline. Still, frags did come from the side of Persija. Doesn't really matter too much though, since Bonkers has gotten a 3-round streak here so far. And what we're seeing here from Bonkers is many a time, it really just involves them navigating towards those sites and not as much, I'd say, defense really from the side of Persija. They put players like Flinch to try and get the operator out. They try to make those aggressive plays work. They want to go for the flanks. So Bonkers has the answer every single time. And you can see this is where the controller difference and the utility advantage goes in favor of Bonkers again. They're able to cut up the sight lines easily towards that A site. Great fault lines there from Minimize, helping out the team. And overall, you can really see that it's more of the playtime and experience from Bonkers on Fracture, helping them out. And I guess this is why some people are asking, why weren't we seeing Fracture early on in the play-ins? Not too much Fracture in the local challengers of SEA, since there's that unfamiliarity. But since Bonkers has already weathered that storm back in VOT, they played it a bunch of times already. Wouldn't be too surprised that this can be the pick that they can separate themselves from the rest of the pack.
Yeah, you can always just make this their winning map, and if it gets through the veto, they have such a high success or high win rate to get that successful game. That being said, Persija I feel like haven't really scratched the surface of the double duelist in its own way, because again, you mentioned how it felt like it's only flinch with the operator. They try to put a bit of layers here, but maybe it's different. It's not the correct layers that they're spreading out through the site, and a multi-stack on site itself isn't really what you want to do. So with the timeout being called by Bonkers, Persija also kind of tried to understand what was going wrong, and this 3-man push onto B main, onto Arcade is something good. But as I mentioned, that Minimize, he's gone a step further. He's actually already on the A side, while his teammates will be coming from B.
Goal used though from the Astro utility. They are able to stay on the way in time. Doesn't care about the vulnerable state. Still gets a tap there anyway. And Asterisk, the burning scroll down. This is the hold that Persija wants to have towards this B side. ER just in complete control of the towers, watching both sides of the map, given the space from Asterisk and the experience here of this duo, just pushing Persija to the next round. 4-5. And really, players here coming in from that Boom Esports roster before. Big impact on the Persija roster. Now on the calls and the holds, you can see where that veteran leadership comes out for Persija.
Honestly thought that was going to be a good round for Bonkers there, because it seems like they got everything set up, but Persija put them into a false sense of security. They weren't able to find anything from the Bonkers roster, or from the Persija roster. They're slowly breathing down their necks now on the defense here, Dax. But that being said, Bonkers, I still feel like they will be able to manage this somehow. They still do have Minimize with his Rolling Thunder. He can rip one out. And there's nothing really to stop the attackers now from planting the spike if they ever get into the site.
Well then, Rolling Thunder though to start things off. We get it from the underground, just quaking in their boots. Tries to go for the blast back play, but ER is prepared, not ready though for Minimize. He's Rosefy able to get the flank from the Arcade, and Persija now narrowing down the movements here of Bonkers. Camera though will say hello. Spike is right there, and RDW doesn't make it in time, picks up the parcel before it gets kicked on the way. Scroll though with a takedown out the one, and Famous able to make a trade. And this is where Bonkers now utilizes their exit strategies to a good degree. Not only do they run away with a spike towards that A site, takes in position in the middle of the map, that kind of infiltration, really showing that kind of mastery on the map. It's so difficult, honestly, for the attacking side to get that midpoint, unless, of course, it's an investment on the flank, which was exactly what Persija did. So it's 2v1 now. Famous here. If he wants a starring credit to this role, he wants to be the main actor of this round. It's high time now to make the 1v2 count. Thing is though, it's a camera here from RTW being the big bother. Eye in the sky, or eye in the Radiant, keeping an eye out. Tripwire is right there as well. And as soon as he touches it, might break his neck. Breaks the Tripwire first and foremost. Sandwiched here by Tix. And whether front to back, you are just gonna be dead there, Famous. 6-4. Bonkers now building up their lead.
Building up their lead and creating a nice little rapport here in the first half, where Bonkers can't, or rather, yeah, Persija can't really follow up. You mentioned how there's that flank coming in from Bonkers, but Persija, but Bonkers does that once again with Tix just kind of hovering over the defender's spawn. It really catches off Persija so much that it feels like Persija just can't really find that next step for the moment. The setups though for Bonk is flinch again with the operator. The timing is gonna always give him that value, but it's one of the two controllers that they still have, so they will be able to utilize this Viper if need be to start charging up. That being said though, out in the open, Flinch thought that he might be able to get cheeky, but he was rather unfortunate, rather mistaken in that regard. RDW will get blasted away by Persija here, as now we do see the rest, Rosify trying to delay the attackers. As we see the dust settle, 3 versus 3. Bonkers can still go and attack the A site here, but there's a fresh smoke that is trying to stop them from coming in.
You know, if that wasn't a judge, RDW would have won that.
Actually, yeah.
You know, the Cyber Cage is like perfect against anti-rifle, but then you just run on in and it's like, oh, who plays judge on Fracture? Probably Persija does. But now, you have the rifle being picked on up. It's 3v3. Never forget that Eeyore, he's not going to be giving up that B site. Does Bonkers realize that as they go for A instead? As they are
30
looking to hit
seconds left.
Asterisk and Famous with all they got here. Molly, though, is primed and ready. Timing now is everything. The fire to get in the way. Love to see Famous, though, if he can get that showstopper in time. We do hear the Rays turning it out and launching it towards Nas. All if not to minimize and scroll. In a desperate scenario, they go for the Viper Spit, but a nice flash into the peak here from Minimize to get that takedown. A quad already from the breach. And while everything is left to Eeyore, he now has to deal with a sea of green. He set everything up towards that B site. Still has to go over to A instead. Minimize, though, on the high ground. Scroll in the meantime might have blockaded his own vision with Poison Cloud. Quick little breath of air here for Eeyore, just to remove a bit more of that decay. But Minimize with the ace. A step ahead and a step above of Persija there. Bonkers now, 3
Last
rounds the
round
gap
before
versus
the
the
switch.
opposition.
Gotta say, Minimize, from the first time or the first couple of days we've seen him, he's been, I feel like, underperforming for Bonkers. But now his setups are so clean. He's hella coordinated with the rest of the team. A good example of that is this particular round. Not this last kill for the ace, but the first couple of ones that allows Nas to actually direct himself onto the site. If you saw how Nas double satchel it, the way that he was able to get the kill was because of those stuns, because of the initial flash that came out from Minimize, which made it much easier for Bonkers just come rushing right in. That being said, though, here comes the Rolling Thunder. That does knock up one. Nas now coming into the side here. The nade stops him from overcommitting the lurk right now. As of the moment, Famous good on the swing. Flinch as well to follow right after. This is messing up whatever Bonkers want to do. And to pick up on the weapons, they need to stop this from coming. And it is actually that. As they do, as they rotate onto the B site, there will be weapons laid to bear out in A that they can pick up, that the defenders can pick up, but the damage is actually pretty severe on either side.
Also divide now the play and the beauty of the walls here for the side of Bonkers, helping them out just a little bit. Unfortunately, though, the timing was perfect there for on person to get that pickup. Scroll right now, fights back versus Rosify. It's a Spectre, a Phantom on the other side, but Tix doesn't even care what they're holding because he runs on in to get that takedown 2v1. But Tix just needs to do everything for the team himself. 8-4. Bonkers,
Switching
though,
sides.
now looking for that home run, looking for that victory. But what a setup and the knockdown here from Tix. He got that takedown towards the A side. This cosmic divide is huge. And if you're the ones who builds that wall, you might be the one who can also push those limits. Had an idea. The Famous was right there. Ran into him to the corner. And just Bonkers. The power of the double control is scarier on Fracture if you know how to play it. And the problem right now for Persija is they don't really have as much to try and hold that off and even try on the other side to get on through. It really relies on Eeyore to be that anchor, to be the one to anticipate that. But if he just goes along with the Persija trade, tries to frag out with the rest of the squad, then it's an easier side take for Bonkers than ever.
I'd rather argue that maybe just giving the site up would be the better option here, because it seems like Persija are overcommitting to that. You mentioned how Eeyore should anchor the site, and I totally agree with that, but I think he has to anchor it away from the site itself, set up the utility on either location, whether it's A or B, not really activate anything, especially the eye, and unless Scrawl has his Viper Spit, right, for Bonkers, I think that's going to allow Persija for just a lot more, because it feels like if they lose one person already, Persija's ability to save the sites, to defend the sites, is just dramatically decreased. And losing somebody like Eeyore that has an extra smoke, you know, the Cypher Cage to really help things out, Famous with his nades, Flinch with his blades or his dash, it really makes it so difficult for the rest of Persija here to work out, because they're always fighting these rounds as they continue in like a 4 versus 5, because it seems like they just get that one person as a sacrificial player, and Bonkers just accept it each and every time.
Yeah, well, Persija, they're gonna need to step up and fast here on the attacking side. And speaking of fast, that's the big difference here. We mentioned a while ago that for Bonkers, this roster, they don't have their usual jet player in, so we're not gonna be seeing many of those jet-based compositions. Bonkers will be adjusting accordingly on a map-per-map basis. Maybe that speed from Flitch, if he can get those takedowns alongside the rest of the crew, it can help on that. But RDW is the Stonewall, breaks hits, and Minimize also hitting the hopping famous there as quickly as he could. 4v2 suddenly.
One enemy
Really,
remaining.
Persija, they just don't know
Spike
where
down
Bonkers
A.
is coming from. Scroll with such a quick shot. As soon as the doorway opens, there's a bullet to the brain of the spike bearer. Rosify, the only one left, but I feel like that's it. RDW, one of the most potent sentinels you can see on this side on APAC right now. It just makes such a big difference for the squad. Rosify, you're usually on the setup. Can you make the knockdown happen? RDW on the other side, classic shots to ring. Bit of a tap there to the Cypher, but here comes Tix, and now your time is over. Rosify nipped in the buds, and Bonkers now 5 rounds to gap.
He was caught in A main, very little HP, not a lot of utility left. There was very few things that he could have done to maybe, just maybe, bring it all the way back, and goes to show 2 kills on Asterisk. Just, yeah, his efficacy in this second game is not as good as he was in that last one. That being said, PSJ, they have the option now to go for the force buy if need be. They are on the attacking and they can make this work, but you still do decide otherwise. Better the devil you know than the devil you don't. And they are willing to take one more round loss here against Bonkers and just play the rounds in once Bonkers hits double digits.
Damn if you don't. And Tix right now just committing and sending all those souls to eternal damnation as he gets a 3k so quickly that the round is over before it even really starts. Flitch and Rosify, where else can they even go here? They're going for the wraparound. Arcade is the kind of setup. But really, this is Bonkers not even utilizing the heavy utilities that we can expect from them. You have the double control there. Gravity Well is going to be a big bother. You can leave RDW to his own devices because he's a strong, independent Cypher who no real teammate. But Rosify, he gets the shot, but the classic isn't potent enough. But Minimize is able to turn on around and get that takedown. Flinch, though, now will get caught out in the open. Bonkers again, finishing off the round with the pinch. And you can see the timing right now from Bonkers. It's looking to be primed and ready. And while Persija should have the guns and should be able to contend here more so, I'm really worried for the fact that Bonkers is still winning it out in the more dry peak fashions anyway. A few gravity wells that don't connect. It doesn't matter though because they're still winning duels anyway.
Spike down B.
Well, again, nothing really that Persija can do with these weapons that they've had. The timing on Tix, just to kind of catch them off, was really, really incredible. Bonkers now overcommitting to the fight here, really throwing everything but just the kitchen sink. Persija embraces them with the aggressive swing. Now left onto RDW. Last person standing can go for the orb if he wants, just to get the extra nice little bonus, just in case, because of the spike not still being planted down. That's not going to happen. Now he's going to go just run all the way through spawn. He will get caught by the tripwire here. Famous hoping that maybe his opponent will be coming through mid-link there. Not really going to happen. And Asterisk on the swing. There it is. And a flawless round for PSJ.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised PSG to actually have this setup even more so coming into the rest of the attacking side rounds. They leave a tripwire early, and then they commit their forces to the other side of the spawn instead, just so they're gonna have intel all around for the wraparound of the map. Because as soon as they get on the site, most of their forces will be concentrated towards looking into the middle of the map. That attacking spawn, the links there to get the angles. But in this round, they just anticipate the Bonkers' aggression, and that's exactly what PSG was able to do last time in their last outing. But the guns should be out, and this is now where the Bonkers discipline has to come into fruition. PSG, though, having Astros and ER on the south side. A 3-2 split perhaps, the underpass connecting them if need be. But Bonkers, they're looking to just be willing to give up the site anyway. A few sight lines towards anyone getting on the objective itself, yes. Beyond that, fault line setup, Astro Stars, those are things that Persija will need to contend with. Smokes are out though, as they need to go for the push. Minutes still remaining, so much time in the back here for Persija. And Bonkers now prepared for the retake instead.
Oh, they're going to be going through this one, waiting for the utility first, but the spike has yet to actually get planted by Persija. They still haven't committed the plant yet, though. I wonder what's going on with Persija here. They're a little bit afraid, or maybe just waiting. They do. Oh,
Spike
yeah,
down.
okay. That was kind of awkward. That
No
is
matter
hella
how much you
awkward
wait.
now.
No matter how much you wait here, it is Bonkers
30
prepared
seconds left.
to just spam it down towards the Radiant anyway. All left now to Asterisk. You can see the risk that Persija takes with this kind of composition. These Brimstone comps, they're fun to see with the stim beacons. They can get some great lineups and great holds. But let's not forget, the only real problem with the Brimstone right now, it's an all-in kind of thing. You put down the smokes, and you're never gonna get them back for the round. Bonkers playing the waiting game. Persija, so I think they were trying to psych out Bonkers to use more of those smokes for the Astra. You know, maybe a gravity well or two as much as possible. But Bonkers did not fight. They were just ready with the bats. And as soon as PSG went in, bonk, you're dead.
Look at that. And Persia's idea to plant it where
This is a nice spot.
Bonkers can just easily bang the planter.
Yes.
It was their undoing in that one. The courtesy call or a courtesy follow-up as well for the double kill. Now you can see Scroll is about to hit a lot with the smoke. Ooh, doesn't get spotted though, so maybe Famous can sneak his way through. There's like 4 on the swing. If this drops, there will be eyes met onto Scroll. There it is. He's waiting. I don't think he knows what's about to come in his way. Oh, this is so deadly, and I think Persija is just going to actually be able to walk through up on this. Flinch is so close to hitting the headshot on the head. And there it is. They've opened up the site already, and Persija once again try to go for the B site, and this time looking much better than before.
Yeah, big round to window for Persija. If they lose this, match point for Bonkers and not the best buy coming their way. This time, convincingly getting to B site. Smokes now used right to get in the way. The Bonkers can't play that waiting game anymore. Time ticking. Famous up top. This crate over here. Famous will get the takedown. Optimize still contesting the spawn there. Takes will get one, but he's the only one now alive, and he peers on out to the loving embrace of many members of Persija. Has to retreat, but this is the difference when Persija is actually able to sink that spike plant alongside the Brimstone smokes. Time after time for Persija. It's a will to victory. It's an effort to get through the site. But this was easier than expected because they got that opening towards the tower early on.
Scroll kind of just got bamboozled at some point there, which is pretty awkward to see at the least, but does give Persija a fighting chance here. You can see still kind of awkward for them because they're gonna have to go and do that once again, but I think Scroll has learned his lesson. They're gonna have to fight it out just a little bit more. Loving how Eeyore is holding a lot of these flanks by just himself, wanting to get as much utility as possible. How did RDW actually reach this high up with his camera? That's actually pretty gnarly. But Persija is not there. It's gonna be on the A side.
We're learning camps today. One from ER here towards that A site. Here for RDW, he reached for the skies, and apparently he put a sticker of a camera there on that constellation. But Persija now, this is a free site take. The retake potential here for Bonkers.
Spike planted.
Not gonna be too good because they only have the sheriff, so Spike's not planted. Time is ticking, and even if RDW tries to go through from the south side of the map, it's always that initial tripwire from Eeyore that will give him the intel that someone is there. So Eeyore gonna go after RDW first. Damage done. That's a takedown there. Doorway push though, courtesy of Bonkers. They want to get rid of the Cypher as much as possible. And that's Nas now with a heist of the round. He will take the life and take the gun of Eeyore at the very least and run away with it. Nas though, actually gonna get the takedown. So the fight back is here from Bonkers. 1v3 situation. Nas right now still doing just a little bit more but Flinch does not flinch. It's conveniently enough for Persija as it's 7-11 now. They're getting back in the rhythm of things here in the second half.
Yeah. How long can it go though? Because again, there is always going to be that threat that once Bonkers start to get their buy round, this is where they start. They do get their most potent, obviously. But Persija is doing a good job at utilizing these double duelists to start things off. And again, this was one of my cautions or thoughts about how this this half is going to happen. I think Persija, we're just hoping that maybe we can have a few rounds the first half, be able to bank on just our skill to move forward. This one, we never really see them push out so much when they were in defending, but this time on the attack, it seems like they've rallied back. They're using Flinch and Famous, and you can already see actually working 18 and 17 in terms of the kills. Asterisk, who was about 2 kills a while ago with literally to no assists, is now starting to build up as well. The Brim Stim Beacon using to utter fruition here, and Persija feeling things out, knowing that they need to bring more on their end, is also called timeout.
But this is where I mentioned the fact that Bonkers will not really have those sudden impact compositions. Having that Jet is a mainstay for many comps, for many teams, just because you can suddenly jolt out for that speed, go for a sudden angle, or really change the pace of a round with one single entry and one single dash. And we're getting a lot here from Persija right now. They're strolling towards the sites here. They're making the plays happen anyway before anything else. And from what we've seen for the past few rounds, they've gotten the angles that they needed just so they wouldn't get stifled. If they go towards B, they get that tower. Towards A, of course, it's the site itself, but also that high ground. And this is where the famous flinch connection, the FNFs here of Persija, can really show their strength against Bonkers. Still though, one mistake can really cost Persija their life here in the APAC Challengers. Tix though, backing on away. I'm really the biggest fan of him being that first contact. He's so good at using those opportunities in later segments of the map to get his takedowns. Just might not work out against Famous as he's now going for the hops, the skips, the jumps, and the showstopper. But there's no one to call home for both the showstopper as well as the orbital strike. Nice retreat there for Bonkers. This all stay on alive and stay here by A. Here comes the flash though from Rosify. Quick little setup though with the cyber cages, and Scroll will use that cover to get that takedown. Rosify though now finding just the beauty in himself to get those two. Eeyore on the board as well. Showstopper now for Bonkers, doesn't get much. Takes on the board, Nas is there as well. But here comes Persija now, and they're looking for the goal. They get it there, the scrap fest. And it's 8-11 with 11 HP remaining for Persija just to survive.
Loving the attack there from Persija. They just tear the site apart using everything but the kitchen sink to just charge right in. That was so close, to be honest, as well, though, because I thought that Bonkers was going to be able to double up. They used a lot of their own utility to delay Persija, but it did not work out in the end. I believe that was a Scrawler minimize, just go back onto the A site to provide some crossfire, but being way out in the open for Bonkers here really messed things up for them, because they weren't really expecting to be pushed from either side by Persija that efficiently. Yeah. But it really did work out, and Persija hit the head in that one. Works out beautifully, and now they just need a few more before they start pushing back.
Yeah, it could have been worse for Bonkers, honestly. At least they got a few angles there, especially with the cyber cages being into play. But at the same time, you mentioned it, because they lost that site hold, they couldn't anticipate any push with their utilities. It's not going to be as potent as we've seen, and we know on the Frag Fiesta, it's Persija who can come out ahead as they're more attuned with it. You can see really the experiences of both these teams, Bonkers especially for the map, Persija in the meantime, just the ideology for the Scrapfest. It is helping them out in this series, but the score doesn't lie. It's Persija now who has to go for the uptake. Nice shot though from Skull to start things off. Minimize! Just watch Seer in front of him and put that barrel to his temple to get that takedown. But here comes Rosify and Famous yet again. The ones to get the takedowns here for Persija. The strikers now looking super. Flinch going for the plant even. And it's 3v2. But RDW, he has a plan and he has an angle. Vandal in hand. Can he make it work though? No armor for himself. Keeping an eye out on the drop just in case. Rosify though, he's ready to unleash the stun. RDW coming in close, gets a peek onto one. Famous there with the trade, and it's 2v1. But Scroll, if you can just get the tap perhaps, it might be enough. But no, the first part comes and the bullets land. It's Famous here, who looks like a star yet again. 9-11. PSJ now only need 2 to tie things up.
It's not as clean as you'd think it for them, but it still works out in the end. I almost thought that RDW might have been able to explode on that
30
one.
seconds left.
But here is the fangs that PSJ are very much known for. Was left to Scrawl, but he only had a teeny tiny share against the huge Vandal that is on the hands of Famous. We do have this 911 Shorty qualified to burn on the dance floor because PSJ is coming in blazing with this comeback on the second half, on the second swing. Scrawl now does have his own utility. He has to be a little bit afraid that he might be pop-shotted through the smoke there, but covers it regardless. The rest of PSJ have abandoned any hopes maybe to go for a site, but they double back in. I wonder how this is gonna go. Eeyore is actually expecting the push. Another one will follow through, and Nas has delayed or denied both Cyphers from playing more into the game.
Yeah, interesting variation there from Eeyore. He decides to stay with his tripwire. Gets a takedown onto RDWS, but he also doesn't expect the double peak to happen because he wanted to maybe get away with a cyber cage and rappel on. VSJ will take that sacrifice and will take advantage of the opening made to come in from the dish instead. So high ground right now, a vantage board towards that A site. Poison Cloud should be dissipating soon here for Bonkers. And as soon as it's gone, here comes Famous again with the hops, the skips, and the landing on A site. Spray is there though, and PSJ taking their time
30 seconds
to put
left.
that spike down.
Spike
Retake is a
planted.
must. Bonkers, they committed with the Viper Spit here over onto Hall. They're still gonna stay on it, give themselves a chance for the rotation if ever. They really Scroll here. Make or break moment from this angle. Famous watching for the Viper to peek it out. The Rolling Thunder though is the called counter axe. Here comes the swing right now, but Scroll in the corner does get the takedown off the flinch. Famous is there for the trade. They're happy for that one. Enough for Persija. Bonkers though getting on site, and the great use of the Cosmic Divide to force PSJ on the other side. Minimize though going for the halfway. Here we go now with the hold, and Bonkers just keeping with the stick, and they will get that defuse anyway. Nos holds the line, but Bonkers now able to concuss the opposition enough. Fool them there, and pros don't fake. It's Bonkers now on match points.
Okay, I was wondering how Famous actually got knocked off there. I thought he lost the pistol battle when he had like a rifle in his hand, but it was minimized. That helped out the corner there. But yeah, that wall really making it difficult for PSJ to start moving in because it does separate the rest of the squad. There's no way that from drop you will have that straight line to actually spot the default plant. So it really messed up what Persija were trying to do as they come back from the push. Or come back from the defensive. But it was so awkward. Nothing really left that they could have managed there, and the players of Persija that were defending the diffuser just did such a fantastic job at just holding the fort and making sure that they can go for that. And with all of those points, it's only Bonkers with one more. And again, this is already a tournament life. Elimination is in reach for Bonkers.
Yeah, huge fumble there from Persija, honestly. It could have been their moment to peek it out. It really goes to show, to keep Hicks or Scroll alive, they're gonna be keeping the battlefield in favor of Bonkers as much as possible. But here comes now the push towards B site, the dash on in. But they do have that tower control that Bonkers has seeded for them. Famous though blows up Scroll. Minimize though peeking out in time to shut down Asterisk as he plants. And here goes Famous again. He wants to heat on up, find a few more takedowns. Nice flash though to prevent the push. Second one is there. And even the third from his own teammate, I believe. It's just blinding lights. Here comes the aftershock right now. Gets a blind again from Rosafy. So we're seeing the lights, but finally we see the frags. Famous now will get 3. He's been absolutely hot here. The Raze right now on the rampage. Gets the 4th. Eeyore there. Will get the final kill. Not be able to give the ace to his teammates. The fact of the matter is Persija is here to survive, and Famous has just been nigh unstoppable when he gets things going. 27 takedowns, duel after duel, making space, making the frags happen, and just his overall presence is something Bonkers has to respect. They had to use those flashes early on just to prevent them from dying from the showstopper, and since they couldn't peek it out with Rosafy at the ready anyway, it was just that stalemate that goes in favor of Famous anyway, since he just goes for the dry peek, gets that takedown. And well, now Bonkers needs to go for the timeout because they know that they can bring their hopes to the knockouts here and now. They can go for more. He will have to beat Persija though in this instance if they want to make it happen. Slay the demons of the past and look forward to the future.
They need to be able to do that because, again, there is no more safety net here for Persija. If they lose this, they're already out of APAC challengers. Gotta say, you are absolutely correct about the Famous points that he has been such the big lead that Persija were wanting to have. Flinch might have been yesterday with how many ops he's done, but in terms of just overall explosiveness, Famous is one of those players that I think was touted as well from other Indonesian teams to be in their super team roster just because of how he's just so explosive. Even without the Jett safety, his Raze is so ridiculously strong there. With all of that, they've also ruined the economy here for Bonkers. There are just a few more steps to pushing this into the series-defining game number 3.
That's the thing about Famous. Famous is his name, but he's really making his true name here happen in the APAC Challengers, making a case for himself to be one to watch out for alongside his compatriot Flinch. If you're still going to be running double duelists in this day and age, you better damn sure that you have incredible duelist players on your roster. And case in point, flexibility is there, yes, but in these tight scenarios, you should be able to rely on one of them at least in a pinch. There you go now, Asterisk. Just collected hand to get rid of Scroll. No more annoying toxic screens here for Persija as they navigate to the B site. Tower though first taken. They want to have this control if ever. And they do meet up by the arcade just to collect some information and clear out the sight lines. Thing is though, Bonkers is on the lesser buy, an eco state, willing to give it up and fight for all the marbles into the next one. To not make sure they're still gonna have a fight in this one. Push now from Bonkers. From the spawn area, we get Nebby though in the way, and they're just running to the site this time. Flinch the one on guard duty, sees the head of Minimize, makes him very dead. The Swindle comes on in, Nawson takes on the board, but Famous again is just nigh unstoppable. And who can beat Famous at this point? In just direct contact, takes now. Looking to go for the defuse, but the fault line is there. The jump peaks are into play. Tix though does get a third. You have to be careful here, Persija, because Tix right now playing with the time, halfway done, goes for the shot, but Rosafy will peek it out to win it for Persija. Still though, that was not the best case here for Persija. They lose everyone alongside this roster, and I don't know if everyone here for Persija now can actually get the full buy that they need, as Bonkers will look to seal the deal this time.
Haven't heard seal the deal in for a while now.
Probably like a month.
Yeah, for like a month now. But you're absolutely correct. Just like one more step for Persija here. Bonkers, they've done so much damage. I wonder if they actually have ruined or have touched on the economy there for Persija. Yeah, they actually were able to do so, forcing Flinch to just play with the blades. I mean, blades can always be good, but if you can have a rifle, that would be even much better. So we'll see if he can able to capitalize on this one. But Bonkers, they've used a lot already. And I think now, because they know that Nas also has the showstopper, they're not willing to fight this, knowing that they are going to go in this tiny, tiny corridor with a big rocket looming over their heads that might explode right in front of them. With all that being said, Persija now set their sights onto the B site. Nice amount of smokes, pop shots through it by Nas. And the wrestler Bonkers is not actually going to find anything. And, well, that was actually transpiring. Texas has been knocked off his block. Here comes the retake for Bonkers, but it might not look too good. So losing Asterisk is a step in the right direction.
There we have it now. Not much to work with on the smoke department. And here we know with Nas, showstopper at the ready. Bonkers trying to make it onside. Roseby gonna get on the board, but minimize again. The efforts are there. Scroll look for a target. Rolling Thunder gets the bounce on the flinch, and they have the intel now. They know the jet is right on the inside. The Blades though get the connection on RDW instead. And here comes Flinch. Just no hesitation whatsoever. Eyes forward. Go for the takedowns. And the one goal for Persija is to make the overtime happen. Second game in the series, Asteroid. We go to OT.
Oh my goodness. Persija just does not want to yield the loss already here. And this is why this is a team that will always impress all of us. Bonkers so close to finishing off the series here and now, but they get denied. I was wondering if Flinch's Blades will prove any dividends. Not really. He swept out to the rifle, but it was more than enough to actually spot out and push back Scrawl. With all of that, PSJ, they've called for the immediate timeout, wondering what else they can utilize, especially when their defending side was the side that actually netted the most issues for Persija. And one of those big issues was they just did not get the map control that they were really hoping to take.
Like, how do you even get that map control right against the Bonkers roster? It will take a Herculean effort from the likes of Famous and Flinch. But I'd love to see a little bit more in terms of the assistance. I'm looking at the Breach. I'm looking at the Brimstone. Maybe an early stim beacon. The fault line plays. We're not really getting that too much from Persija. It's just Famous and Flinch running around, just showing the acrobatics and trying to make a pick happen on the defensive side. On the other side, though, Bonkers. They know that, well, that attacking side from Persija is scary, but defense a lot more easy to manage. And keep an eye out on Tix. He has just had a monster of a game. It's more of those quiet efforts, though, to get that 25, because you see him in the moments where it just swings the round in favor of Bonkers many times. And when he's not fragging out, he's just getting the setups really well placed for Bonkers. So tip your controller players, because they do everything and more in these kind of scenarios. Overtime 1 though starts, and I wonder how many OTs we go this time for the second map.
Put down. Cage trigger.
Well, we could be able to see that. That is interesting though. RDW able to get through. Okay, because Eeyore didn't put his camera on the regular setup. Oh, almost a decapitation there onto RD, but gets back into the position. Nas now holding on top site, but wants to just hold the crossfire here. Excuse me, it will be a 4 versus 5 as the round pushes. The dash right in from Flinch, but that was a bit too much wishful thinking that the tiny little cloudburst would actually allow him to cross. Not really. The rest of his team could not follow up because of the suppressive fire. And now Bonkers 1 round away. Is this it? Is this their game to actually keep them still in the APAC Challenger here, Dax?
You still see though, Persija, the struggles on the defense are just absolutely apparent. No one ready to deal with the drop. RDW getting those kills for free. And the lack of that initial movement anyway, leaving Eeyore to his own devices. Not the best camera even just to deal with the 2-prong attack from Bonkers. Persija's woes, they are looking very costly. And they don't step it up yet again here on the attacking side. Well, this game is already over. But Bonkers, as soon as they get even a bit of intel, you can see that they're willing to navigate towards that A site. Reinforce early, retake as a whole later on, if ever. Smokes, though, being primed as soon as the Sky will try to drop things down here from the Brimstone. Well, there you have the play in. So, last back hops though, and RDW being cheeky. He knows that Persija love to take this high ground, but Famous will circumnavigate him and get to instead. Now trigger discipline to get that takedown. Flicks though will get on the board, and Famous, again, the impact is true. Just give him the big dollar contract already. He is taking names and being a star here for Persija as of yet. Spike planted, Tix right now, trying at least to make an effort happen as Crawl will go for the rotate. But look how Persija just set on up. They're keeping an eye out for both sides of the entry points here on Fracture. They will keep the breach to play keep away just for the assistance. And while Famous will fall, Eeyore is there for the trade instead. Things right now gonna be onside. Flinch though can't hit, but Eeyore now will get the second one in a row in terms of his kills. 13 to 13. One OT down.
Overtime.
How many more? That's the mystery of this game.
Well, there's like 3 coconut husks that's being twirled right in front of you with the answer in one of those husks. We'll see how this overtime will unravel here, Dax. But gotta say, man, you mentioned, keep mentioning it. Famous always the leader of that charge. Takes on Bonkers. This is gonna above and beyond. I honestly thought he would have been able to get the kill there, but the follow-up from Rosify's stun and the reaction from Eeyore just to get the immediate frag before Tix could have gotten onto the site was fast enough. Oh, they brought out the operator. They're wanting to use it here. They know that it's still on drop, though. It actually dropped in already, and Flinch, he's done messing around. He's brought it out, and he's gotten 2 kills at the ready.
It's finally time for Flinch to show what instilled fear in the hearts of many. Against Vapor Rex, you'll never get that praise map. And now, they're looking to forget the past of the Fracture and make a better future with these sure frags. He's not missing the first shots this time. Here comes a quick low underhanded lob by Famous to make it closer. But a nice gravity well to pull him in. Scroll with the takedown. Minivice actually catching out Flinch. And that's a 2 duelists. The stars here from the Persija side falling down early on. So Bonkers now able to get to that A site anyway. Waiting potential though with the aftershock as it tries to blast into the corner. Poison Cloud, just blockade that vision one more time. Spike is planted and ticking on away. Here comes Ear though. On the south side, we get Rosify now getting ready to prime those flashes. It's a matter of timing here. Steam Beacon though. Allow the push to take a few more steps. Ear now with a take on onto 1. Rosify is there. Scroll has got in 3. It's now all left to him to try and hold it. But nice utility from Rosify. The flash and the push enough to be the 1-2 punch to put Persija instead on map point. Will we go for a map number 3? As PSG has finally solved the defensive conundrum.
Finally were able to make that work out. So many positive trades there on their end, and Rosify make sure that Skrull can't even have a fighting chance at this. The pause for sure. Bonkers has called it as well. They don't want to possibly go for that last map that we do have in this series, Dax, because I feel like the momentum slowly tipping the favor of Persija Esports. The last map that we also will be playing is Haven, which is the only map that Bonkers did win. But now I think we just put that all in the air, the statistics, because they are just looking so different from what we saw. Both teams actually. Bonkers way better than before, and Persija, I feel like even though they're still as good as this, isn't the same that we saw that really dominated the initial days of the group stage.
I think it's a factor of familiarity, especially if you're facing off against them the second time. And from what I know, Bonkers, they used to scrim SEA teams even when they were back in Australia, higher ping, sure, whatever, make it work, and learn their style. And as soon as they got to Thailand and had their bootcamp set up there, had their better ping set up, able to learn even more about the SEA playstyle. But still, seeing it in a tournament setting, seeing it against, well, a squad like Persija Esports, right, that was an absolute shell shock in their first outing. But now that they have the VODs, they've seen Persija play against them, they've seen how Persija played against a team willing to keep that kind of parity in Vapor Rex. They have a lot of homework that they were able to research upon, brush up on. That's why the series is as close as can be now. But for Persija, a matter of survival. One slot already taken here in Group B. The other slot still up for grabs for these two teams vying for position. But speaking of the position now, it's looking to be an A side take here for Persija. Defaults have been effective thanks to the efforts, really, of Famous and Flinch, mostly the Rays. But they double back. They feel like there's too much of a setup, perhaps. The stars are aligned towards that A site. A heavy concentration signaling the Astra may be nearby.
I wonder what would happen, right? I mean, if Persija wins this series, if ever, that would mean that there's a percentage chance that we will have a majority of the players coming into knockouts all from Indonesia. Like there's like, we already have Onyx. I believe Boom is already looking to fight. Oh no, it's the other way around. Boom is already there. Onyx is looking to already to follow with their other Indonesian brethren. But yeah, maybe never mind that one because it's a 2 versus 2. Eeyore and Asterisk on top of the side already. RD W. Oh god, shut down. This is rather unfortunate. Nas, the only hope now for Bonkers. He's used his utility. He wants to go for the aggressive double swing, but it gets spotted by Eeyore and Dax. Here it is. They've dipped once again, and they'll do it another time. We're pushing to game number 3 in this first series of the day.
As soon as Persija just steps on site, they command so much attention. And on the attacking side player who will play these sightlines to absolute perfection. Chef's kiss. Once he starts getting set snipers, keep an eye out on his money. Keep an eye out on his ultimate counter Asteroid. Because once the bank is there, Bonkers will be ready to play. See it though, Bonkers now on the attacking side. The assault is coming from that A side. And there's a quick take here that wants to happen, but Flinch with a quick engage instead. And there's the first takedown, but Frenzy's about from Bonkers. Up close and personal with the full loss of pistols. Scroll's gonna get on the board. Famous will trade back. But it's 2v3. And while Persija is forced to invest a bit more over to that A site, Bonkers, they know how to play this map and they will rotate towards C instead.
Unfortunately for Flinch there, he actually got caught, I believe, through the smoke as collateral, so nothing really that he could have done, and the trade's plentiful for Bonkers here. Oh yeah, this is awkward, because they were probably expecting that Bonkers cut noise and started moving towards short, where you saw Famous was just waiting for the contact there, but it was absolutely wrong. Eeyore. Oh, he actually still gets one! Alright, that's a step in the right direction. Famous, now in a 2 versus 1. Trying to mull things through. You will have to deal with one on the side, one in the crossfire here. But Tix is about to go for the swing. No! He's actually gotten through here. This is going to be maybe the point of opportunity for Famous. He hits a beautiful shot on the RD.
Out of charges.
Cannot follow up on the Tix in the first round. Goes in the favor, goes in the hands of Bonkers.
That was way too close for comfort for Bonkers, but Tix has been oh so reliable in those situations. And not only that, it was his stim beacon usage that gave Bonkers that sudden burst of impact to make it through to the other side. And you can notice that PSJ has also adjusted one more thing. They played the Omen last time. This time they're playing the Brimstone on Asterisk. They got that experience a while ago on Fracture anyway. But at the same time, it's just to keep parity with the speed of how Bonkers is going to transition, because Bonkers, again, is compensating a little bit for the lack of Jet players on their roster right now. Nas can play everything, I think, in terms of duelist. Maybe except that Jet that we don't see from him in terms of comfort. And if you want to get a player like Minimize or RDW in position properly, then you need that sudden burst of speed to make it through to the other side. And Persija understands that. They're gonna try to keep up with the chase. It's gonna be cueing the Benny Hill music later on as we're in a bit of a tech pause. But you mentioned it a while ago, Persija, I like the play that they actually want to go for the aggress. You're playing double duelist anyway, might as well go all in, right? But since the frenzies came from Bonkers, they got really close really fast. From that point on, well, they got the advantage, and the know-how to play this map to rotate really helping them there.
And the quick adjustment as well to just go for that immediate rotate, you know, just because they were already feeling that if we overcommit to this site, we still don't really have that much information on what to go on. And again, Haven does allow for these things to actually work so much more in their favor. All that being said, it still does give you a bit of understanding as to how Bonkers really have understood their opponents here, because before I think what we would have seen was they would just cut so much noise and wait, but now Bonkers have really stepped up. I think Tix alongside RDW has really come into his own, especially in this entire tournament where he's not really afraid, I feel like, to just allow his team to work off of his utility, and it really has given Bonkers so much I think carving power to just make this site make this map their own.
Yeah, and well, really feels like contextually, right? Bonkers, they want to go for the overrun early, build up that bank, and then let the RDW show will happen. And the thing is, You don't see that Sage too often on Haven anymore, but in this kind of scenario, I really feel like it just fits the Bonkers mode because not only can you play some of the barrier orbs and soul orbs towards that A site, towards that C site, if you want to stop either the retreat or push of Persija Esports, but also I think it's a simple thing. Res RDW to go again. If he is sniping someone, someone trades him, whatever, we go again, snipe more people. And that extra bit of vantage points here for Bonkers, it is really one of the biggest tools that they have to power themselves through the APAC scene. And they're going to need something like that. They're going to need an extra weapon or an extra power position against a team like Persija, who knows how to push back with their own kind of power players. And I'm really interested if Flinch will be bringing out the operator. Ever since that Breeze game after Paper X where he just popped off like crazy, his options haven't been as on point. We did get a glimpse of it and a glance of how great it could be in that overtime a while ago on Fracture. But really, it might boil down to that big sniping duel between these two players, Flinch, RDW, who can play the better sight lines. And especially since both of these kind of agents, they have either teleport or dash on a way to reset themselves if need be. I really feel like coming into this map, that one specific matchup right now will define who will get the momentum of the round.
I wonder how that's gonna unravel as well, right? Because you talk about the momentum of the round gonna just not favoring also Flinch with how he's been playing as of recent. And that's actually a really good metric as well here, because Famous has been popping off so well with the Raze that Persija actually used this on Haven that hasn't really had the most success, if that makes any sense. Because I think for the most part, all the other teams have used everything other than the Raze on this Haven map. And it really does goes to show how much Famous has made so much impact that they want to bring that onto the last game of the series. And also another thing that I am very much curious about, I kind of want to go back to how Minimize has brought up this Sage here. Has Minimize been the one player that has played the most agents? Because I felt like he's played like 3 or 4 already in the set of matches that we've seen Bonkers play in the APAC Challenge. I could be wrong though, but it feels like he's just been playing everything, like Sky and the Sage, and then there's like maybe 2 more agents that he's used.
He
could be wrong though.
if I remember correctly, he plays Sky, Breach, and Sage for the past
for the last round too, or for the last game.
rounds of all the APAC challengers. And he's also one of the very flexible players. If you look more into the match history, other agents show up, but also RDW, he can play pretty much any Sentinel, maybe even move over to the Duelist role if need be, but him on the Chamber is just where he's most potent. And I feel like here for Bonkers, they just want to amplify that talent even more so. Tix, though, I'm keeping an eye out on this guy. Tix has been the unsung hero of Bonkers. Many people talk about RDW, many people talk about, Minimize, but really Tix is just pretty crazy if you think about it on how he's able to stabilize the team. He's that rock right now. If RDW is the one, he's the tip of the spear. Basically, Tix is that hilt. He's the one who keeps everything stable and keeps Bonkers basically in contention as much as possible. But now, we're gonna be back into the game, and Bonkers utilizing that wall to be even safer. So that's one more thing about the barrier orb. Reinforce wherever you're putting that spike down. It's so dangerous to put it right behind the Radiant Knights, but in this instance, he has cover to back on away safely. Scroll though with the find onto the moving Asterisk. Dash on in, but RDW does not miss that tracking, and will get the takedown. Nod's gonna get on the board, gets the second here along the way. All left now to Rosify, but this is a third kill for Noz, and he's coming closer to the showstopper. If you can't play the Jet, play the Raze instead. Potent at those angles, just to suppress them, just to blow them up to smithereens, and a showstopper out of nowhere can break any defensive hold.
One of the weaknesses that Raze would actually go against on is if there was an Astra, but I think that's like an indirect buff for Razes, because not a lot of teams, or a lot of teams are actually straying away from the Astra, and since your double satchel is like one of the starting tools to get into the site, it does still allow Nas and Famous to actually get farther in than they would have hoped for, because they don't really have to fear that gravity well anymore. That also being said, because they still do have this Sova, the synergy is there, that it's very easy for them to just charge right in, get that information and not really be using the jet dash combo. In any case here though, it's only left onto RDW, has to go for the reload. This very, very fast round for Bonkers just got slapped in their hands. This PSJ will be able to get the double kill with Flinch starting it off.
Well, that was such a fast brawl, and Persija actually investing on the guns on that third round. Only 2 will survive, so Bonkers pretty happy about that eco. But still, they just got so close, so fast. Suddenly, it was just absolute action there. It's gonna be a chance for Bonkers now to try and keep up this lead if they can play the distance game instead, because they know that Persija would love to play those closer angles anyway, and you get it already. RDW, sniping time is a go. The tour de force is there, but the speed of Famous won't get the takedown onto Nas. Still, stability is kept in check. You got ticks there to make the trade happen. So, Persija, they'll lose the first duelist, but not the second. Flinch is ready here with the Blade Storm. Minimize too far away to go for the resurrection anyway, in terms of the ultimate progress. So Bonkers now gonna be playing that waiting game and look to rely on RDW to find the pick-off along the way.
Yeah, he does have that tour de force, as you mentioned, so it's going to be, I think, much easier for him to start things off. He really does love to go for those off aggressive angles that allows him to get the pickoffs here, and he also likes to play the anti-lurk, and it has allowed, again, Bonkers for so much entry here. You can't see Flinch has actually walked up all the way, and this might actually be caught by RDW on the swing. The timing is going to be very crucial, but since he actually finds nothing and goes off the angle, this might be something that they can capitalize on, but Flinch got a bit too antsy. Minimize able to get an asterisk here, and that wall just did absolutely nothing because Bonkers is going all the way through the A site. They baited out the opposition, and Minimize still holds the fort here, gets another kill, and Rosify will have to deal with this first because he is going to get caught before he can do anything from front and back. Now that he does, 3 versus 1, definitely nothing that he can do in this fight anymore.
Minimize the maximum distraction there, puts the wall just to be a bot there, looking to call that attention. And 6, of course, just the old reliable, perfect punish onto Flinch. This has to be a savior from Rosify. Really, Bonkers, that extra bit of patience on the rotation, it is absolutely immense. And you mentioned it, anti-lurk that can come out from RDW. It's not just him, it's the rest of the squad. And really, this has been a series to remember for Tix right now. He has been so potent with not only the smoke setup, but also the frags as that second wave. Might be able to see Rosify here, but seems like it will be the Sova getting that takedown. Overall, though, Bonkers gonna be happy about that round because they get that extra round. They're also able to save up another rifle since RDW didn't really have a weapon to begin with. And this is the beauty of having a player so renowned on the chamber on your roster, because money matters. And if you can just lurk with either the tour de force and the headhunter, save money for the next round, you're not just gonna be having an arsenal for yourself, but you can be a grand sponsor for anyone else. Speaking of the money though, this should be the open hand now for RDW. Let's see if Bonkers will unleash that kind of fury. No, apparently rifles are out instead. And a spray down to try and flush out whatever here on C site, because it's Persija on the eco state here.
Oh, that'd be awkward. Okay, 3-man stack onto Garage here could actually work out for them. Asterisk forcing them out with the Molly. Famous to follow through as well, but the rest of the team from Bonkers actually going to be pinching down on through Garage. Minimize. This wall be used so that Famous will have to break it before anything else. Doesn't find anybody though, as the rest of the attacking team now looking to hunker down onto the A site. I did wanted to mention this before the round, and before that, very, very aggressive kerfuffle started here, Dax. That 5 kills was what we saw with RDW, even on the attacking side, even when we keep seeing Nas and the rest of his team be the ones that ignite everything. Until RD that starts to start the fight here. His trap has activated already, but he is marching on through to B. It can hear the footsteps of Asterisk here, and this should be an easy takedown. Now Famous, again, rocking a hard place, one in the front, one in the back. He's gonna have to fight this tooth and nail to even just maybe have an option, or barely even get the chance to defuse the spike.
Yeah, barely misses the timing there. He checks A long, no one home, short stack instead here for Bonkers. If Famous actually gonna go for the wraparound, he knows already he's lost this round. So good heads up to actually try and play the exits instead. Highs into the corner. Will Bonkers find him here? Throws the paint shells to the grounded area. There we have the first, but minimize. Will minimize casualties there and get one more round. One more kill also for the side of Bonkers. Not a bad effort though for Persija. That was a more economical state for them. And getting a few rifles out will make Bonkers invest and still think about maybe if it's off time or not. But this is interesting here for Bonkers, and something I really want to point out because of the map. You're on Haven. You don't really have too many set stage plays, right? It's not like Split, it's not like Icebox, especially where you need to save that wall for your default plants. Here you can just use it as a reaction. We've seen it how they modified that seaside accordingly earlier on, but this time it was very simple. You see long, see ya, goodbye. Put the wall in the way. Showstopper can't do anything from Famous, and no rocket to the moon for Persija whatsoever. Timeout now gonna get called because it's the perfect time for Persija to assess if the op will come on out. How will they play it now? Will they decide to just rely on Eeyore for a bit of that anchor play? Will they reel on back and not peek early on for Famous and flinch? Because they already know that the hotter players of Bonkers, they're up on the scoreboard. Noz is having quite a show of force here on Haven. And RDW, no surprise, top fragging for the squad.
Well, they've brought Flinch again with the operator, but I think he hasn't had that much success compared to the match that they had yesterday, where he would hit just multiple sniper kills on the side. And you were kind of describing as well how, you know, it's Flinch that can actually do things with his with the sniper of his, but it hasn't really come and commenced and actually dropped in nicely. Eeyore somehow survives the showstopper, gets a double, and slaps back at Bonkers here. The flag to come through from Famous will actually prove some dividends, as now Trix is alone on an island. They do have taken down Eeyore here, so that turret will not spot the Trix lurk coming in, but there's so many angles that he might actually be just in trap here. Nice little escape there from Flinch, but he's allowed his teammate to just dry out in the open, and Tix still gets another in the bag. PSJ, though, will be able to pick up the weapon once again, and at least they do pick up another round at the same time.
Yeah, but that is not a good show there from Flinch. This was good, though, from Eeyore. Holds off the two, just swings from left to right. Orbital strike in the way, sure, and he gets that reinforcement. This is how reliable he can be on that anchor position. He just knows how to force out those single duels. But on the other side, yeah, Flinch can't afford to do that in this kind of series. This is eliminations. You want to make it to the top 8? You better be damn sure that you actually hit those shots. And Tix, he does not miss. He finds a frag. I thought it was already Flinch saying, oops, I'm sorry, Rosify. I got you killed there. My bad. And then he gets himself killed, and it gets even worse for Persija, since Bonkers should still have a good amount of money to work with anyway. So timeout right now, another assessment on how to really deal with the Eeyore setup. I think, though, if the side of Bonkers can just stay away from Eeyore right now, they know that this Killjoy will force those duels to happen anyway, more so in his favor. That might be the chance, because there's so many more options anyway. They can't even consider to go for those B takes, because there isn't that much stopping power right now from the side of Persija. But really, it's whatever gun RDW has that will describe basically what is next here for Bonkers.
Yeah, RDW's always been that player that allows Bonkers to make things work, especially with all of the lurk that he has been doing. But they've taken such a slower pace at this that I think Bonkers is just allowing Persija to do Persija things. Rosify, is somebody actually going to swing on him? Because he's absolutely dead if somebody does. Now he gets away. He doesn't want to make too much noise as he's walking, or rather creeping up through the slow orb. He does play much more far back because he will have that ultimate to deny. Ooh, almost a sniper shot onto Eeyore. And he feels it already. Spider Sense is tingling, but he will actually double down into the position here. Gets the first couple of shots. Rosify somehow, some way, actually gets followed through and minimized. Adds a bit of insult to injury. You get that frag. Nope, I do have my resurrect. And that's all you can really try to hope for to deny. Nade to come through from Famous, but does absolutely nothing to stop the attackers from planting that spike down.
Yeah, high ground though for Flinch. And here we go again. Cheeky wall, now a bit more standard when you go for that Haven take. Just put it in the way of the connector and stop the angles towards the graffiti area. Thing is though, Bonkers already decided to navigate away from the site a little bit more as time is ticking. Seems like Persija can't even contend and they want to save the operator for a rainy day, but Bonkers has brought down their own op. And it hasn't even been a factor for the side take. Instead, you keep an eye out on how Noz does get a bit of that help from the likes of Minimize, the likes of Tix as they push on in. And the trade potential really, or in this case, just able to swing together, applying pressure on a lone defender. And it was because even if Rosify was there, he had to run on away. He got hit by the slow orb, and any ambition onto A-Long, it's immediately stifled. And Rosify knows that he can't really stay on site to contribute with the utilities there later on. So 5-2 right now. Bonkers able to just get the initial part of their plan to get that victory. What more perhaps for the next part?
Gotta say though, it kind of felt awkward that Rosify wanted to double up with Eeyore there, where I believe he still had like shock darts and both of their ultimates, which would have been really strong to just deny post plan without even exposing themselves, but they still wanted to go for that double push, where Bonkers I felt would have been just reigning king. So they really came into that round with I felt like the mindset to lose, or just not knowing what was the utility that they had, right? Because again, Bonkers, they already had the possibility of the resurrect. They had a lockdown and the Hunter's Fury up and running. So why not just back away? Why not just wait for the rest of the team, especially when they still had all the big utilities to play for that post?
Well, mistakes are made sometimes, and in this case, the punish comes through from Bonkers. I mean, look at that logo. Just able to bonk you out of nowhere. This time, RDW. Well, he's ready with the shots. You know, dude, it's the best logo in the freaking whole VCT I've ever seen. So big points to them already there. But Nano Swarm in the way. Sim Beacon is prepared to just go for the run on by, but ER will get the first scroll, though no fear whatsoever. And here comes RTW now with a quick trade. After Asterisk will get the takedown over to Minimize. Rosify though, already planting himself right behind this site. But here comes the swing again. Scroll peeking it, pushing it. Getting another takedown, no fear whatsoever from the Sova. He's the leader for the squad, even in the game itself. And Flinch right now finds the head onto one. Here comes the duel we've been waiting for. A duel of fates, a clash of titans. It's RDW versus Flinch. The push comes in though from the chamber. Flinch right now tries to go for flick, doesn't get it. But here comes the shot, and Persija will resound the round with a victorious conclusion. 3-5. That's the confidence that Flinch needed for a map like this.
Definitely so. Able to sneak up onto the planter and just blast the brainicles of Scrawl all across the floor.
Spike planted.
It's just a really good clutch. Yeah. Nothing really said. Able to isolate the fight and sneak on through to the attention of where Bonkers was looking at. RDW was trying to do the same, but I think Flinch just knew where his opponent was going to be coming from. He thought that maybe it's going to be C-Long, or I thought maybe it was going to be C-Long, but not really, and Flinch read that situation absolutely beautifully. Now he's going to be playing onto A-Long here. Nobody's going to be peeking out, and Bonkers, seems like they're tired of the A to C. Sometimes the option B is the option to go.
Yeah, B is for Bonk, and let's see now if they can bring the brawl immediately. Nice shots here from Noz, anticipating the push from Famous. Famous actually blows up Minimize. He committed on the spike plant. So even in that, he will bring one more to the grave. E already though with halfway on the defuse. Noz though lobs of paint chills in response. Early the impressive nature of the race is there, but here comes Persija. 1 and 2 to make it happen. That should be the round taken by Persija. The lockdown there to even prevent the Window Peak from getting more of the takedowns. But Bonkers, as soon as they ran out of the utilities to throw at the site, they just didn't have the sight lines whatsoever to spray it down instead.
Wait, wasn't Scrawl using his Hunter's Fury? And they still got hit by the lockdown? I thought he broke it already.
So sometimes
That
just don't hit
happen. Wait, no. Okay, so
Yes.
Scrawl was thinking to maybe use the Hunter's Fury to deny the diffuser?
I think it's a half and half kind of thing. They knew it was already like halfway, right? and they stop the initial plant, so it just gets really dicey. And it's hard. It's a hard decision for someone with Scroll. He needs to break what? Both the lockdown and the guy going for the defuse. And it's a bit, maybe that hesitation. It's not the best sightlines whatsoever. And I really feel like for Bonkers, because of Persija's lockdown, they had no confidence really to stay on that site. And it's a bit of a disadvantage when you run that stage. You try to make those wall plays happen, gets even tighter, but Flinch actually staying a step ahead and basically keeps his head versus RDW for now. So it's 5v4. Bonkers though can still commit if they want to, because that's only the chamber, that backline there falling flat to his face. It seems like Bonkers right now, they can still execute if need be. Smokes though are out, Stem Beacon is there, and the push is on, courtesy of Bonkers. Blast back now to push it forward, but Famous, not only him, but the boom bot. Kills go in his name, yes. But you can see the efforts really of that little bot that could. Flawless execution though by Persija here. The hold absolutely strong from Eeyore as well. And now we're tied up as Persija is getting the momentum. And really the big duel here, the big kill. Flinch, just in one shot, shutting down RDW.
I actually thought he was going to use his showstopper there because it was already, well, available to use. But as he mentioned, no real need to do so. Only have to throw what all he really had with the paint shells and everything. And that really messed up how Bonkers wanted to face onto the fight there. Really almost wanted to see Bonkers actually get the site itself, but man, somehow, some way, they still, Persija still has that good utility usage. Now, Nas, he's actually pushed up way far forward. Flinch, actually almost able to catch one in. The smoke not really giving any form of leeway whatsoever, but here they come once again. Orbital strike to be used. Is Flinch still gonna have that upwards control? Not anymore. No more updrafts up and running for him. And now here comes Famous to activate his own showstopper. Spots out two onto the left side. Only good for one. Can't control the spray to get more kills, but so much is done. Yep. That showstopper has really delayed the attention of Bonkers, giving PSJ the safe defuse, to be honest.
You know, I'd love to see some replays of these defuses because we have an inkling what's going on, but Persija, they're proving to Bonkers that this B-side is not for free whatsoever. You think this wall's gonna help you out? No, not as much. The orbital strike is there, but no fear whatsoever from Eeyore. He just gets halfway done anyway. And since they have the smokes, they are able to get that tension with the showstopper. They have the small look, the small angle that someone else can take the bullets for the guy who's defusing. Since the side of Bonkers, they're aiming a bit higher, they're going for the headshots anyway. It's Persija just getting a bit more of that cover. And this is the problem right now for Bonkers. I think we said this many times against any team playing into an SEA squad, is if you start playing their game, they're the ones who win out in the wild west of chaos. And really, Bonkers, they're not utilizing the biggest strengths that they have here. We've seen how their C takes have been absolutely potent, their A takes have been special as well. But a straight to B, not really meant to be, thanks to the efforts of, well, I have to say Eeyore and Astros especially. How many times have we seen just that Killjoy go for that half defuse to give Persija an easier time into the round?
Very much agree. So, because of their effort, oh no, Eeyore's gonna get a kill. Maybe even two. Oh my goodness! Minimize. He does get the refrag. He will try to get the orb, but Flinch was already waiting for it. He knew exactly what was going into the minds of Bonkers. And they got hella bonked. RDW somehow, some way manages to actually creep up. Sniper versus sniper, who's faster? There's the smoke. Flinch feeling out the round here. RDW has to push on forward, spots him out. Nice little dodge, Matrix, but can't really deny Asterisk the refrag. 75 on the first half. And my goodness, Eeyore, they talk about him in B, but well, he's just everywhere. He's omnipotent, he's Eeyore.
He is Eeyore. That sounds so scary there, As, right? But you have to fear how potent he can be. This was an open door approach that Bonkers fell for. RDW getting into the garage with nary and I'd say oppressor, right? No one really to contest him whatsoever. And Bonkers, they saw the gift handed to them and they took it for granted. They went for the push towards C long. Eeyore not just gets one, but two, and that's huge. Sacrificing the Killjoy early on in the round. Not the best on the defense, but taking that kind of risk and doubling up to get those takedowns, it made Bonkers more narrow-minded on what they wanted to do, just to get that parity, go for that kind of res, you then get minimized, put that wall up, and since RDW didn't have sightlines on the site whatsoever, well, Flinch, he's not missing this time. He's really back into that form that we saw in their last series. And while he's climbing the charts right now, and is able to actually outduel RDW in many time except that last one. That was just, tour de force difference. It's a bit faster, it's easier to scope on in, and RDW, if he misses the first time, you're pretty sure he's not gonna miss the second. But 7-5, and what a run this has been for Persija. 5 rounds on the defense, and once we come to the attacking side, it might be even better because the sync last time on Haven between Flinch and Famous wasn't really there with a Jet Breach. This time, Jet Raze, it's gonna be the flying Flinch Famous duo coming your way.
Well, they do have Rosify to make that even better because of the Sova setups. Although, again, we're singing the praise of Persija a lot, but I also want to go back and give that very much well-deserved performance output again from RDW. He's able to find all those nooks and crannies, but you know what? Every loss is a learning process. I wonder how Persija will actually go against the grain here, against the Bonkers grain. And it seems like it's just going to be a straight-up C-site push. Does Tix actually have like a molly to stop them from coming in? He will be able to spot them as they start pushing in. He does not. Only the smokes. So this will allow Flinch to just go for the pinch. The frenzy for a bit more damage. The nade from Nas just to stop them from coming through a little bit further. Oh my god! Did he actually hit that headshot? No. Okay. That was Rosify. But that would have been nuts because that was the last bullet on the frenzy.
Just letting her rip, but you gotta say though, Persija, they saw that open door and this time they just kick it wide open. RDW, the only one left, 3 bullets on the Headhunter. And the 1v4 slate might be too difficult to handle. He has a shorty just in case someone is up close. Eeyore is right there waiting on the other side, but the rush down now is something Bonkers needs to answer and fast because they're running out of rounds to work with as Persija will get that pistol. But that was so speedy and exactly what you expect from a double duelist duo. You can see it here. Famous with the suppressive fire, putting the opposition also to the corner for Rosify to clean up. We don't talk about the nanoswarm burning Flinch. I think he just went too far. I think it's kind of his fault, honestly. He went too far in when it's the right call to throw that nanoswarm into the corner to burn the player down. But beyond that, it is what it is. Persija, this is the lethality of these pistols. And, Asarai, they did it on Bind. They did it on Breeze. These rushdowns worked. But not on Haven. So maybe, just to complete the trifecta versus Bonkers, that is what we're gonna see here from Persija Esports.
Famous is already just rushed out. Eeyore's gonna get caught here, but the throw on the nade was a bit too far off. Now RDW is the only one to remain on the flanking team. Tix still alive here all the way on spawn, but already one eye's actually set upon him, and that's Famous. PSJ not really breaking a sweat as they go for their extra round with full ferocity here, Dax. And Bonkers just got pushed back.
Yeah, just standard strategy of Famous and Flinch. Go kill. And they're just getting takedowns time after time. The space that Persija is able to work with, it gets even better for the flank coverage. And really, the more traction this Persija Esports team gets, and the more of the field they can really work with, it really feels like they can pass the rock, pass the impact, and go for even more. Even though the guns are out here for Bonkers, wouldn't be too surprised for them to just go for the push here for Persija, and that's exactly what's happening. Dash on in through the Cloudburst, minimizing the meantime, walling this off. Does get broken though. It's Tix again. 1, 2, 3. Time is up. Says the Brimstone. Rosify don't win to take down RDW. Gets on the board, but he's the only one left. And Nas will actually get the kill from the logs as we were watching Minimize jump to the platform. 9-6. Nicely done there by Bonkers to hold it off. And when you need a hero to hold it out, it really is Tix there for his tricks.
Down.
Good separation from Bonkers overall, able to use their utilities just to kind of keep members of PSJ apart and ruin the sync that they were hoping to try to get as they were rushing into that C site, right? And this is what they didn't really see during the pistol, because there's not really much utilities that can be bought and utilized by Bonkers all throughout. But this time that they do have the money, it's a whole different ball game here, Dax. So PSJ can't really do what they did beforehand. Flinch could always just charge right in, but if there's no proper utility to clear up as he is going through here, it really is just that difficult. That being said, though, he's going to be planting now. Teammates are going for the suppressive fire, and he will just dash out. 5 versus 5 on the retake. I wonder if there's any big ultimates that the attackers that PSG can use to delay even further. Nope. And they still have to also be worried about Minimize's wall.
Now here we go though with the defuse. Minimize will get halfway. Is this the day of defuses here on B side? Persija though looking to go for the tutorial instead, and they teach Bonkers how it's done. BSJ now swoop on in, back and forth like a yo-yo, and a flawless victory for Persija as they just re-push and reclaim that B side for themselves.
Really, that they could have done there. Maybe a step in the direction for Bonkers was to get that kill off on Garage, but it didn't really happen, and they just had to fight right then and there. And I really like this setup from Asterisk, where he doesn't really put the smoke out in the open. That doesn't really help out the case of Persija, but what he does is he puts it on top of the site itself and near enough onto the spike that whoever's planting it actually gets spotted on their feet, but not on their face. So they're actually just screwed over. That being said, RDW, he's brought out the big sniper. It seems like PSJ still want to go for it despite the double stack here onto the side. They know now that at least Minimize is here. He's boosted up on his own wall. And they're still actually pretty adamant that charging on to A.
But this is a gamble of fate. He has no armor whatsoever. Really bit of an all-in situation here for Bonkers. Gotta say though, as ER is trying to bait it out, nice cloud burst right now. Shotgun flies, but the lockdown now is available here for Persija. They can actually take their time to assess the situation first before committing on that Killjoy ultimate. But scratch that, it's already Eeyore coming into the short angle. They might be putting it down here so close to the Bonkers faithful. Time ticking on away. RDW can actually still hide over onto the tower there, but he just goes for the shot. They thrust the Orbital Strike to do its job. PSJ did not expect that one coming. So this is looking so much better for Bonkers already. Scroll the backs on the way, has the Sheriff in hand. Nosto Minimize on the board. There's a drop down, and that is well executed this time by Bonkers. They get a flawless back. But to make a point here, Asterai, you notice in that second half, those first few rounds, they went by in a breeze. But that last round took a lot longer on average compared to, well, everything else. And this is what Bonkers needs to do. This is why they lost last time against Persija. They got strung along for a ride. They saw that Persija did not let up at all with the gas pedal, and they just kept going along with it. This time, it's Bonkers who has to hit those brakes. And plays like that, where they capitalize on their own ultimates and their own angles, can give them that edge.
Gotta say, I think it's either Asterisk as well or Flinch that is, excuse me, overheating a little bit, because you saw Flinch, he jiggled up. I'm not sure if he spotted Heaven, but he still wanted to actually contest it without even waiting for his teammates' smokes to blot out the vision. It wasn't Asterisk that died early, it was Famous. So I was wondering why the Brimstone wasn't able to set up the smokes and set it up when there's only like 3 people remaining for PSJ there. So really a weird encounter, or maybe they were just banking on the fact that Flinch has been a really good entry fragger and he would have been able to, you know, beat out RDW. But to be honest, that really feels like wishful thinking to me, especially when it's RDW that we're talking about.
Yeah, I think they assumed too much with that lockdown, giving them that space. So Persija Esports, assumptions can be deadly. Might not make that girl call you back, or in this case, might not give you that round. But the push comes to shove, and Takes will get one. Famous though with the trade, and Famous again now, looking to shine on bright like a diamond here for Persija Esports. Might be the star striker here, truly, for PSG right now. The spike will be planted, but Minimize, of course, ready to keep the midfield in check. Heals himself now to make it 3v3. Scroll with the intel though, and you can see the Persija has decided to go for line backs and go all the way for C-Long instead. Nos now A few shots here and there. Trying to get the angle. Paint shells to prevent the push, perhaps. Nice lob into the cubby. And Asterisk is forced out just to die. Eeyore, though, did get one. And we did get the molly anyway. So job of the Brimstone is done. 2v1 now, all left to Nas. Get the dart. Here we go. Trying to get halfway. But Nas able to keep steady and get that takedown. Shock dart, though, is avoided. And here we go again with the paint shells to stall it down. There comes the peek from the Sova. But Rosify will nip this one in the bud one more time. Just cut off the roots and keep Persija in the lead even more so. 11-7, as that was just moment after moment from both sides. The paint shells were right there from Nas, but the thing is, he had to stick that one to that point on us, right?
I did not expect that there was actually a specific lineup with the molly from Cubby. It's usually deeper on C-Long that you actually find it, right? But that was very cheeky from Asterisk. So with that, delayed it even further. I honestly thought that Nas was about to go for the clutch because that second nade made me sweat a little bit for Rosify. I think if it was a little bit deeper onto C-Long, he had to commit to the peak as well as taking even more fatal damage from the nade itself. But somehow, some way, he actually got through and caught Nas as Nas was hoping to at least get the half defuse first before he started dealing with Rosify once again. Even though PSJ did win that, well, again, it's all about creating tempo, and timeouts are a good way to boost tempo here in these kind of situations.
I mean, that was a bailout round, basically. That was so close. And one thing that at least they got out in time was that Asterisk molly. If he died before throwing that one out, I really feel like Nos could have just pushed it to the limit and made the paint shells even more potent from that point on. Because that was such a great grenade. Just flushing him out. As the power of having the Raze on a map like Haven. We say it a lot about Bind, we say it a lot about Splits, but here on Haven, there are those open sight lines, but there's also those small cubbies where having that Raze is not too bad anyway. Thing is though, Persija has two of them, has the Jet, has the Raze. Right now, the turret is being sent on up. So they're watching and waiting for any kind of ambition here for Bonkers. Thing is though, it's already the tour de force brought out here by RDW. You'll be looking for the snipes instead. PSJ now, they do force out a bit of a reaction towards that B side. Dash on the way though is used. RDW, danger close, does not flinch whatsoever, and it's Rosify already wilting down one more time. There's not enough water and not enough life. Minimized though, maximum hold towards this garage. This is a Sage watching out for this. Nas though with the find over onto Ear as well. And finally Bonkers just winning out the duels around the map. Picks though with trade again. Here goes Famous now all alone, and it's hero time here as he slams down the watch and slams down the flashbacks. Nice shot though onto RDW. He was not ready for that one whatsoever. 2v1 though. Now the pinch looking to be true. Aldrone with the tag. Perfect pulses into play. Here comes Scroll right now to force him out. And of course, Nog's gonna try to go for the pinch, but Scroll will get the job done for himself. Set it up, knock it down, and perfect precision from Scroll to prevent the rampage of Famous from taking the lives of Bonkers.
I actually thought...
Yes?
Yeah, you were referencing Ben 10 already. I was already hypey. I thought he was gonna go hero.
Such a nerd, oh my god.
Hey, Ben 10 is a new show. No, I'm kidding. Only OGs will know the real Ben 10, the one that actually had the good stories. I said it. I said it. Even before the Ultimatrix, all right. I said it.
You're so invested with the Ben 10 multiverse, man. Chill out. This is why I love hanging out with you guys, right? Because you just say the most precious things, to say the least. But now, it's not precious, it's precarious here for Bonkers because flinch. Again, that's what the Jet does. Get somewhere out of nowhere so quickly. Nos, though, will have to make amends. And the showstopper will get two! Perfect package delivered there! The Farts this time for Bonkers will get, well, the kills that they need. That special payload now, giving them the advantage. 3v1 situation. Rosify going for the cover fire, and RDW found the angle anyway from the garage to give Bonkers just another one. Who needs a Jet when you have a Raze, says Nas. And that showstopper was just pitch perfect with the throw.
Planted.
Perfect with the throw. That double catch with the showstopper was absolutely ridiculous. I was kind of curious as well why there's like so many people from PSG there, where the last time that we saw them actually charge up the B, it was only, what, Flinch that planted the spike and then he dashed away. It seems like PSG wanted to play the close counter as much as they can. Granted, they were just on the pistols, but, well, Bonkers, they were very opportunistic. Oh, the quick charge out, gets spotted, trades abundant. Flinch gonna have to try to go away from this one, but the orbital strike right in the face of Minimize, and it has been called. USA is here, USA! As he just slaps him right in the face. Tix coming through, spots out one. We'll have to push forward to break the Killjoy lockdown, but no chance in hell that he's gonna be able to do that. RDW left to go for the 1 versus 3. Lockdown does stop him even further. And again, he only does have the showstopper, or rather, the operator, excuse me. He can use the HUD Hunter, but I don't think so. Oh no, never mind.
The Laser Freedom apparently able to smite Justice onto Minimize. 1v3 situation, and now RTW needs to be the one to clutch it out for the squad. Oh no, he's gonna be saving it instead. PSG, they forced Bonkers' hand to play that close, to play in a fast manner, and it just doesn't work out here for Bonkers. Being taken for the ride on the PSG Express is not a ride you want to get on. You just want to get away, stay away, play that kind of distance. It just doesn't happen. I'm a little desperate there, honestly, for Bonkers to go for that kind of resurrection play, put themselves in such a precarious situation. And there's just no escape, really, from the orbital strike. You're smack dab in the middle, and you push on forward, or try to back on away. You're getting whittled down by the firepower of Persija Esports. This is it. The hopes of Oceania dwindling. And while Bonkers went for the gamble, trying to utilize that resurrection value, it's the orbital strike that's even better. It's just a wrong call, honestly, here for the side of Bonkers. 9 times out of 10. That would work, but that laser beam is the big equalizer, or in this case, makes that whole engagement topsy-turvy. Timeout here for Bonkers. Might be for the last time here at APAC Challengers.
I gotta say, though, I think that would have been better for Bonkers if Flinch wasn't just that good at holding his angle, because he already got like the fadeaway tap there, which really messed up how Bonkers wanted to fight. Like, if that didn't happen, I think Bonkers still maybe would have had a chance. Like, Scrawl and Minimize would have been able to push forward. Yes, Nas would have been just gobbled up by the orbital strike, but there would still be that positive A-long control. They already invested in it, might as well just double down already and hope that they can push them back. But Persija somehow, some way, able to make things work. And you're absolutely right. You're dead spot on this one, Dax. This is the last hope right now for Bonkers. I honestly thought the PSG were going to be the ones to go home already, because Bonkers just showed how well they have adapted to the Southeast Asia shenanigans, or APAC shenanigans overall, but still not enough. RDW gonna have the operator here, does have a dead shot sight onto Famous. He's not gonna miss the beat, and still gives a beating heart of Bonkers chance to push on much further.
You know, it takes a lot of discipline to resist that kind of temptation, to just keep shooting, to keep fighting, to show your opponent how strong you can be. And RDW is the show-off force.
Spike down
W
A.
in his name is just how he wins this game. Absolute sharpshooter. Dirty deeds by this man. Rosify right now, the only flower left in this garden. But he's in the corner right behind the wall. He's just caged here. No real escape so far. Any kind of push to get this takedown. Bonkers here should be able to survive. Should still keep the hopes of OCE alive. And, well, Scrawl is there to just watch that crawl and get the flawless victory. But that's an RDW round. And they're going to need more of that if they want to impose on the opposition. Not just because you only can rely on this chamber, but really to strike fear in the hearts of Persija. You know why Persija is pushing like this, why they're getting these kind of rounds in a quick manner, is they got that confidence on that defense when they feel like there is no fear to push through these smokes, to push these angles, that you have someone like Flinch that can actually take down RDW, then they are willing to do it. So it's back to resetting the status quo here for Bonkers. But with only 2 more rounds, let's see if they won't disappoint. I want to see another overtime Asteroid, because this series has given us 2 already.
Oh, they've used the ultimate already here. Tix, he actually manages to get away. The stim beacon is such a helpful tool through all of that as well, you saw Minimize actually get a trade-off from all the way garage as he popped a shot through the spawn there. Famous will have to push forward here, only good for the one trade. Not really good, and takes, what? He actually controls the spray and shuts it down. Asterisk gonna have to run away for dear life, but he's tagged and he's knocked off. Now we're left with Rosify once more. He's gone for the first. He's mounting it, but yeah, it's not gonna happen at all. They still save the operator here. And Bonkers, are they gonna push this Dax to a third overtime in this series? Honestly, out of regulation, this is just the start that we are wanting to see, especially on the 5th day of group stage.
Well, they're getting their money's worth, that's for sure. 12 to 11. And Bonkers this time, just perfect opportunities there. Minimize, not relenting from the garage, finally pick off anyway, since PSG wasn't as set up as they would like there on that C site. And really, it's just that steadfast nature to hold those angles. Another round where they're gonna make PSG question, can we actually go through this? Will we see that chamber? Will we get whittled down by the firepower of Bonkers? It's do or die time right now for Bonkers, truly. If they lose this round, they are out of the running. And SEA Supremacy will reign once more towards the last week, our knockout stage. But the Hunter is on, and the fury of Scroll will be seen and felt by Famous from afar. Already, damage has been done. Look at Rosify. Tagged on the way, no more armor. So a lot of value there from Scroll to start things off. Seems like, though, he's not done. Stack, though, for the A side here for Noz and Scroll. Eeyore trying to navigate through the wall. They broke the middle segment to allow them to at least move around, if ever. But the thing is, seems like Minimize, he can be ready if he peeks it at the right time. Jiggling on around, though, just trying to get a bit more of that intel and give Eeyore a full sense of security. The Dow Drone is perfect right now to get the tag and the intel. Smokes are out, the dash on in, but Bonkers, they are prepared. And Bonk goes first this time. Concussive nature of the round, and you are stunned here by Bonkers as we go for the third overtime in the series. 3-for-3 in match 1 of the day.
There's absolutely nothing that Persija could have done there. Scrawl just... Vanette, Hunter's Fury, usually you don't get that much value from it, but he got 1 kill and I believe a couple of tags on Persija's members, so that was enough to really ruin the tempo that they were starting to build up. It seems like they really wanted to commit for that A site already because they got like the 5-man stack, not even spreading out, and it just did not work in their favor. Now Persija will be flipped up and put on the defender end. Seems like his double push with Flinch. I think he bought an operator, possibly? Yeah, he did.
Yep.
That's why. Okay.
Here we go again. We saw Flinch bail out his team earlier on with the operator. Can he do it now? As Bonkers decide to go for the rifle engagement here instead. PSG, though, it's a heavy stack towards the garage. They're utilizing the utilities now to at least scare them off towards that C site. B looking a little clear. As I say that, it's the Lynx instead being held together by Persija. But Flinch missing the mark and showcasing that he has the operator in hand. Very dangerous scenario that he will back away from, actually. And that just might be a rattle on the morale here of Persija, losing the last few rounds when they are at the cusp of finishing the job off. It does take a toll on your metal. Nice scan, though. Good tag by the Aldrone still. Force out RDW. And Flinch now, the second shot. It does not miss. But the pinch is on here from Persija. Eeyore is waiting with his wooden sticks and more. Flinch, though, able to get a find. Scroll right now with a takedown on the Flinch. But finally, the trap is set and sprung here by Eeyore. The waiting game. The patience pays off. And Eeyore looking for another one. Wins the duel out versus Tix anyway. Spike is dropped. And what a find by Eeyore. 3 for his name. And Persija now 1 point away from moving to the knockouts.
Oh my gosh. Persija, or rather Bonkers, not expecting the second peak from Flinch. This one was fine, because again, RDW wanted to get that control, but you saw there that on the kill feed that Flinch still got another pick in transition. No eyes were set, and that last couple 2 kills from Eeyore was absolutely pivotal to get them that round in the last split. Just chef's kiss there, Dak. Absolutely. Wagyu sauce. Wait, no. A1 steak sauce. Yeah, there you go.
A1, A5 kind of meat, but right now we're setting up the Barbie here as Bonkers are feeling the flames. Flinch, though, right on the outside. Famous gonna be throwing out the blast back. RDW though has to disengage just because the one utility just bothers his aim enough, brings him the damage, and the initial peak there from the chamber gone to the wayside. So quick regroup here though for the side of Bonkers as Persija will now run the field towards a long instead. Eordo on the hunt. He's feeling absolutely confident. Even on the entry, it's the Killjoy trying to keep parity with the duelist he has here. But Scroll right now, preventing the default plant. A good pick off here. Scroll coming in clutch in these tense situations. Aldro now, to look for a target. They realize someone is down, and hell, as Noz checks out the middle area of the map just in case. It's a heavy stack here towards A side instead. Satchels now are out. Noz goes on in. Positions here though. There we have the wall to protect the push, and it takes it with the takedown onto one. Minimize Noz on the board, and it does seem like we're going to another overtime unless Rosefly can do anything. Shot start lob, looking for the damage. Second one is there. We'll get the takedown, but it doesn't matter. Really, these more creative walls, just the fact that you can manipulate the battlefield here on Haven without any standards. It's Bonkers there providing their cover and getting into the fire, extinguishing it, and getting us into a second overtime.
Yeah, once he put up that wall, it really felt like they would have been able to win that one, since Persija were kind of forced to go bit by bit to try to stop them, especially when Minimize was actually still boosted up on his wall. There were so many angles of attack, not only, again, forcing Persija just to peek that singular angle, but also giving an extra vantage point for Bonkers to actually start netting the retake on the A site. Man, and you can see here already as well, Dax. Excuse me, that Bonkers have been just spreading out the kills all through. Look at that, 23, 26, 17, 16. Nothing really disparaging from each and every player. Everyone has really helped out in how they've influenced this entire third map.
But the hero plays come from both sides. I look at the likes of Eeyore, the likes of Famous, Ticks have been crazy, RDW, and neither side wants to be eliminated. Both of these teams deserve to make it to the next week. You get the Bonkers style of using that range advantage, able to have that battlefield manipulation many times in the series. And for Persija, it's an age-old adage. Just go kill, go to takedowns, and amplify the talents of the young guns on your duelist roles. It's a simple plan, sure, for Persija, but it just works when you have, a team that goes with it. You need to have that sync if you're going to be playing these duelist comps anyway. You need to make sure your backline is there to support out the dynamic duo in front. And as we get now back into the game, timeouts now have been used. And Bonkers here right in the middle. Very risky peek here from RDW, but at least he has the rendezvous to get the hell out of there at a moment's notice. No peek though here from Persija. Side angle right now over onto the right. Aldron to the left. Will RDW fall for it? He will break the Aldron instead and snap on away. Not too ambitious for either side here so far, but as I say that, Famous, here he comes! And the spotlight goes towards Noz instead. Flavor of the map apparently Famous is. Minimize also getting on the board, and this is looking good here for Bonkers so far.
How many times has that happened already where RDW will grab the attention, he'll make noise with his TP, but then somebody else will actually follow through still, even if they did take down Asterisk. Eeyore and teammate will not allow this to be an easy endeavor. They actually line up for Rosify. That wall that should have given access onto the B side has turned into an utter squeeze. And they got meat grinded with the shots that Rosify was up and waiting. Now Tix slowly creeps up onto the side, gives him a fighting chance. If he can isolate the fight here, this would be huge. But Rosify too good on the 1 versus 1. 3 kills to him and 1 more before Persija will be still your team here in the APAC Challengers, kicking out Bonkers, but we'll still have to see.
The Garden of Rosify is absolutely deadly. You can feel the pressure now mounting here for Bonkers. Heavy breaths and heavy rounds, bit by bit. You can feel the pressure being applied. Famous there tried to make a play happen. Nice punish. Since Bonkers wanted to go for the rotate play again, was Persija just already set up on it. And even though these guys have been strong on the dual potential, Persija just a little bit different in those more direct contacts. And as you mentioned, Just not the right position. Unfortunate lineups. And when you just take too quickly down so easily there, seems like Persija able to get the advantage that they have been looking for. But here we go again. And this time it's Bonkers taking that risk. Operator in the hands of RDW. We have the garage walled off early this time here for Bonkers. They're trying to funnel Persija somewhere else into the map. Does feel like, though, that it might be too early since Persija has so much time to work with anyway, and they can wait for the ice to crack. But this lack of intel is disturbing here for Bonkers, and they're still sticking around on that C side. You got Hicks, though, waiting for the push. Finally, the break is there, sees the darts, and the timing is perfect to get one. Minimize gonna get on the board. Hicks again, it's just absolutely steadfast. He is the clock that the Bonkers defense relies on, but Asterisk with an explicitive, Eeyore is his name-o, and that will be his game-o. RDW now, the only one left. But for Persija, this is it. 2 versus 1, Spike is planted. It's time now to pick up a different gun, perhaps. It's a rifle here, but RDW, he will respect the lockdown. Just keep an eye out into the middle instead. Double stack though here from Persija. This is scary. If you peek from Link, this might be RDW's demise. One down below, one up on top, and with one soul, it will be the firepower of Persija to give themselves this victory. A 2-1 scoreline. All the overtimes you can get.